The 18th hole here at Crans-Sur-Sierre Golf Club has been the scene of many wonderful and colourful celebrations down the years. And in about 4 hours' time, these stands will be packed as the galleries get ready to crown a new King of the Mountains. The new champion could well be a former winner in Switzerland. In pole position heading into the final day, the evergreen Eduardo Romero. 49 years young, the Argentinian first tasted success here in 1994. And 3 years ago, he was simply unstoppable as he romped home ahead of the rest.
And Eduardo Romero is ecstatic. He wins by 10, and there won't be a more popular winner on the European Tour.
This week, he's looked sharp again.
It's a lovely shot. Beautiful golf shot.
A third round 67 has given Romero a two-shot lead.
Can't play good today. Just miss a couple, make a stupid mistake today, but it's normal for me in the third round. But I finished very well. I finished very well. I'm very happy with my game.
Robert Karlsson is another man who knows how to win in the mountains. 12 months ago, he was in imperious form as he led from start to finish. Karlsson recording his 5th European Tour victory.
Wins by 4. And more to the point, wins from the wire. Wire to wire for the third year running. Robert Karlsson.
The tall Swede is back in winning form this week.
Wonderful judgment from Robert Karlsson.
Looking for his first Swiss victory, Ernie Els will be many people's favourite. A bizarre Saturday saw the world number 2 cruising, then stumbling, but eventually rallying with a birdie finish.
That's a glorious shot. It's a wonderful shot by the South African.
Ernie Els not far off the pace as we move into final round coverage of the Omega European Masters from Crans-Montana in Switzerland. Well, this is such a beautiful place that it's always difficult to leave Crans, but in a few hours' time we'll all be making our way down the mountain when we'll know the identity of our new champion. Will there be a new name on the trophy, or will it be one of the guys who've already tasted success up here at Crans-Sur-Sierre? We shall see. Now, we have plenty of quality out there for you today, and we saw plenty of quality struggle yesterday. Fascinating day when the leaders didn't seem to quite get it into gear, but managed to recover in time, and we're looking forward certainly to an interesting 4 hours ahead of us. Paul Casey put it quite correctly yesterday when he said this is no easy golf course. Important to get off to a good start, many birdie opportunities. Weather conditions today slightly overcast, not too much in the way of breeze. So let's find out what's happened in the early exchanges. Cross to the commentary box where we can join Ewan Murray. Ewan.
Thanks, Dom. How you doing, everyone? We look forward to an exciting 18 holes. Many questions to be answered. A few clues have slipped out already. First hole, par 5, on and 2, Ernie Els, and nearly in for an eagle 3. That's all he had left for his first birdie of the day, and it could well be a different day for Els. Strange day yesterday, bogeys at 11, 12, 13 and 14, most unlike him. So he's made the first move. The second hole is a par 4 of 440 yards. Big drive from Els, left him just a short iron to the green. This time, the ball found the target. Birdie start, and Ernie Els at 13 under par. First of the par 3s is the third. It's 192 yards, and Ernie Els took aim with a 7 iron. Perfect distance, hole high, 15 feet to the left. Yep, another one. 4-3-2 for LC, moves to 14 under par. For Romero, the overnight leader, he 3-putted the first, having found it in 2, and he has since parred the second and third. But look at Michael Campbell. He's gone to 10 under, 4 under through the first 6. Birdies coming at 1, 3, 4 and 6. For Robert Karlsson, a double bogey over at the second hole. A birdie at the first for both Brian Davis and David Howell, and they haven't dropped any shots today. Miles Tunnicliffe, former winner of the Great North Open up there at Slaley Hall, going pretty well. He birdied the first and third, and 6 under overnight. it means he's moved to 8 under. That's where Raphael Jacquelin is. He's just dropped a shot at the 3rd. And Andy Coulthard, who's in the middle of a rich run of form, 3 birdies in the first 6. He did drop a shot at the 3rd, but at 2 under for the round, 7 under for the tournament. Mark Farry birdied the first hole, but sadly he's bogeyed the 2nd, 3rd and 4th, and he's back in the pack there at -6. Trevor Immelman had a strange day yesterday, around 75, and nothing much has happened today. A couple of birdies, drop shot at the 2nd, 1 under for the round. It's a little misty up there. The clouds are a bit lower than they've been over the last 3 days, but it's another lovely day for golf, and Ernie Elsborough is certainly enjoying his start to it.
Yes, and he'd like to wrap up this front 9. Funnily enough, as you've seen, he's 14 under par for the tournament. He's actually 15 under par for the front 9, so I suppose it's no surprise that he started off. He's actually, and that second hole, which is well over 400 yards, 440 yards, and is the second hardest hole today, is actually, he's had a 3 there every single day, so there's no real surprise in this. It's just if he can come home in the same form, then there's only one winner.
First shot we see from David Howell. A nice sound start. Important to get off to a good start. The likes of Howell and Davis, who have won one tournament on the PGA European Tour. Howell over in the Middle East in Dubai, and Brian Davis winning down at the Catalunya Club, the Spanish Open there. New course that was designed by the European Tour some 6 or 7 years ago. So they're looking for their 2nd victory. Identical starts. This the penultimate match, and it will be covered by our man on the fairways down there, Richard Boxall. Good afternoon to you, Richard.
Good afternoon. Now, the breeze is just picking up a little bit on this 4th hole. So much so that Brian Davis, for his 2nd shot, hit a full sand ironing, which is quite incredible, really, this length of this hole. What's not incredible is that he's come up short of the hole, which you find most people do that on this hole. It's the green's right tight up against some bushes at the back. There's a road over the back, out of bounds. It's downhill, it's downwind, so coming up short is what happens to most players, I would say, on this hole. But this putt is all uphill for Brian Davis.
The gallery's following these final 2 matches, and you have a fair percentage of them there, Richard.
Yeah, there's a fair few. What they tend to do on this hole, you sort of hang around the dogleg of the next hole, which is the 5th. You have a few spectators go down to the green, but thin air, it's a walk straight back uphill again to that dogleg of the 5th. So Brian sent it on its way.
A little work to be done there. Here's Michael Campbell, who, as Ewan was telling you, has had a wonderful start, 4 birdies in the first 6 holes, and driven to the edge of the 7th green, which is a par 4. And is that going to run on? Such a lumpy green, this. It's actually a pretty good shot. Both his colleagues that he's playing with, Andrew Coulthard and Jared Mosley, they're on the putting surface in one, so it's almost a guaranteed. You feel if you don't make 3 there, you've lost ground to the rest.
Raphael Jacquelin, he hit a wedge in for his 2nd shot, and putting across the slope, but it is uphill.
It's one of these holes, Richard, you just want to have a couple of putts and get off it with a 4. It's a dangerous one.
It's a very dangerous hole. If you could play this hole in 16 shots for the whole week, you'd be a very happy man.
Second shot of David Howell, obviously tucked over to the left. Was he on the fairway with his drive, Richard?
No, he was, well, I'll tell you the fairway he was nearly on was the 5th. He was well left and tried to cut one round, short left. And just a little chip, as we saw at the beginning. And a fair bit of work to save his par.
Must have thought that was going to fall, and it looked like he hit it firm enough. Just dived away to the left at the end, so his first drop shot of the day. Had all sorts of problems early in the season. His shoulder kept popping out. Go out and hit a few balls, and all of a sudden he'd have to go back in, get his shoulder put back into place. So he's done well to recover, Hal.
This would be the 5th birdie for Michael Campbell of today's round. Oh, pity. But it's still a good round. If you knock that in, and with a par 3 to come and a par 5 degree, might be had a fair chance of breaking 30 for the front 9.
It's a lovely putt from Brian Davis. 2 good putts from the front of the green, and that's one extremely dangerous hole out of the way. He now has 3 shortish par 4s. He can get to work, and he'll be looking for a couple of birdies out of these next 3 holes. And if he can do that, he'll challenge those behind him.
That'll do nicely, and as Ewan said, that's those are 3 hard holes, 2, 3 and 4, and now's the chance of drive and wedge. Here's Casey up at the Paul Casey. This is up at the 5th green. He chipped and 2-putted at the first, didn't get a birdie, and there's another opportunity. So he's opened with 5 pars, which is okay, but he might easily have been a couple better than that. It's funny, he had a putt of shorter than that for his birdie at the first, didn't hold it, and so often those things can influence how the round unfolds. Get one in on the first green and you hold a handful during the day.
There's the collection of players and caddies at the top of the hill, and somewhere close by them is our man following the final match today. Howard, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, and it's really quite a nice afternoon. Very pleasant. Breeze following on the 4th, so making this play very short, as did the first. Driving a 9-iron, Eduardo Romero hit to the first. He's certainly not going to hit more than a wedge for his second shot, but at first it will be Carlsen to go from a very awkward position. He must hit the ball within the first 20 yards, very high, so I wouldn't be surprised if he hits a wedge here. He's actually got a wedge in his hand. He's got 184 yards to travel, so he'll have to pitch this short of the green and let it bounce up, hopefully not going over the back of the green.
It has, and there's a hedge under there. There's a bit of out of bounds. That's dangerous.
I would say that's almost certainly out of bounds. There's a steep bank there. There's nothing to stop it. So there may be a pause up the top of the hill for a confirmation of where it's finished. That could be big trouble for Carlsen.
Straightforward, good lie for Ernie Els in the middle of the fairway. Just a yard close at 183, but taking the 9-iron.
Everybody have to go back again. Come on, Beaver.
This has been a wonderfully impressive start from Ernie Els. He's put behind him the stumbles of the back 9, which was so out of character. 5 bogeys in the space of 6 holes. All that's forgotten.
You may have just heard Robert Carlsen there quite clearly stating a provisional. This is a provisional ball, a number 3, so he doesn't have to use this ball if the first ball is in bounds, but it does look ominous. This is going right again.
Thankfully not so long it was on a similar line. No surprise it's shorter than the other one. Hopefully that first one will be okay, but I'd be very surprised if it stays in bounds.
Real fluffy lie here for Eduardo. Trying to punch this one lower, try and make sure that he doesn't get any flight. That's a flyer. That's well controlled. Beautiful shot there from 154.
Done nothing wrong, but as a two-shot lead has turned into a one-shot deficit because of the excellence of Els. Meander down. Nice three for Canonica, and welcome one after a 6 at the second after opening with a birdie. So even Stevens for the day.
Last thing Carlsen wants to do is make a habit of this. He was in an excellent position 7 days ago at the BMW in Munich, only to have all sorts of problems in the final round. Didn't do that much wrong, I suppose, in the end, but the shots that he did hit straight, he was penalised heavily for, and it looks likely it's going to be the same story here over the first 4 holes. Already a double bogey on the card.
Not quite clear whether this ball is actually inbounds or out of bounds. Robert is very close to the situation here, just wandering through the hedge. There will be a line defining the boundary. Just trying to determine where the ball actually went through the hedge to see if it held up by the bottom of a tree or something.
Just over the top there.
Of course, the one thing, if it is in bounds and they find it, but it's unplayable, you can't go and play the provisional. That's he might have to go back and play it a third time, because I can't see there'd be anywhere to drop it, not nearer the hole.
Zie je terug?
Still no sign of it. We'll leave them to that. Go ahead to the 6th, the second of Emmanuel Canonica. And a pretty good one it is too. It's a short second shot here at 6, but it's a difficult one. You go over the back of the green, you've got virtually no chance of getting down in 2. So brave shot for Canonica there, and could give him his 2nd consecutive birdie.
"87 yards for Jacqueline. Perfect yard. It's just a sand iron. Well, maybe actually in this thin air could well go for the big lob wedge, but I think just a punch sand iron. Excellent. With spin. Look at that. Keep rolling.
With the birdie, he's 1 over for the day, and I think like getting your first birdie fairly soon, otherwise they can, the longer you wait for them, the harder it becomes.
57 yards for David. I think this is just a little bit too close. It's very difficult to get some nip on this. Normally go long.
And of course on a downslope as well, didn't help, but he's played it nicely. very slopey green. This has got a sort of plateau that's flattish on the sort of back left-hand side, but where they've got the pin is on quite a sharp slope down towards the bunker on that side.
Fourth in Qatar, the best performance so far of David Howell. For Jacqueline, after a slow start to the season, he really has added a tremendous amount of consistency to his game. Much the same story for Brian Davis.
50 yards for Brian. Now, needs a big bounce. Go on. Excellent. Hey, see how that runs out? It was just a half shot. Absolutely spot on.
All excellence at 5. Problems back at 4. And left Robert Carlson searching there in the hedge by the right of the 4th green. What's the news, Howard?
Well, the news is he's found the golf ball, but he's asking for a ruling. Now, I don't know quite what the ruling is asking for, because anyway, the rules official is on his way. He's about 50 or 60 yards away at the moment. He's going to determine where he can drop the ball. The fence that's out of bounds is quite a long way through this hedge, so maybe an option, maybe an opening here for Robert.
The other option's not a pretty one, because his provisional ball is in the bunker. And of course, if he was then to declare that unplayable, that's going to take another couple of minutes to sort it all out. El Supreme, early doors. Day one up in the mountains was lovely and clear. Since then, the clouds have almost stuck to the peaks, and down there in the valley today, it's a little misty. Follow that route through the valley up towards Lausanne and up and over the hills, and there's Lake Geneva with its famous fountain, and that's just under a 2-hour drive away from Crans-Montana. Big hold up in the final group over at the 4th. Robert Carlson still waiting on a ruling. Ernie Els wants to get going because he's picked up birdies at 1, 2 and 3. He wants to keep the rhythm going, and these birdies have taken Els into the lead. It's the 4th time that Els has played here. Best finish so far, 16th. That's sure to be better this afternoon. Howard, what's the story here?
Well, it's a little bit clearer now. A little bit like mud at the moment, because a lady walking on the perimeter of the golf course saw the golf ball, thought that she might just like to pick it up and put it in her handbag, and did that, and then fled the moment, as they say. But she's actually returned. She's put the golf ball back in the position where it originally lay, and now I think we can have a ruling, and the ruling will be that the ball is in bounds, and it's a matter of extraditing the situation, I suppose. I don't know where he can drop it, because only a couple of inches away is the out of bounds markings.
The branches of a tree.
You make a very good author one day, Hal. That was like a couple of chapters.
It's very confusing, it really is. I have no idea where he can drop this. He may even just be able to play it.
Okay, I think it's a disadvantage.
While all that goes on, the other players, of course, have to try and keep the concentration. It's happened to them on many occasions, I'm sure, in their own careers. Time for experience, and to use that experience.
Maybe if he can't play it, his only option will be but to go back to where he hit it from originally and play 4 from up there. Saga is set to run.
It's a lovely 3 from Brian Davis. Good drive up and around the corner. Was confident at the distance he had left for his second shot, and he records his second birdie of the day. Ahead to 6.
Monica does the same. 3s at both 5 and 6. In fact, it's his 3rd birdie of the day. And that's a good performance when you've made a bit of a rickets of the second hole.
Here's the chief. I don't think there's anyone in the world knows the rules as well as this man here, John Paramore. Been with the European Tour since it began back in the early 70s. A job he's enjoyed, a knowledge that's been created over so many incidents in that time, and he'll have this sorted out in no time.
once he can get in through the hedge. So they've had to go to the higher authority. And you're right, this is very disconcerting. It takes a lot of experience. Of course, Else and Romero are most experienced, but it really is the rhythm breaker. And it's very easy, once this is all sorted out, that you start to rush your game in order to sort of make up the time.
I think the good thing is there's par 5 here that can be reached in 2, and eventually they will catch up with the second last group, who are now on their way to that 6th tee. Par 5 coming up at 9. Sometimes there's a wait at 7 because that green is reachable off the tee, even though it's a par 4. 330 yards, and this altitude really isn't that far for them. It's a wonderful game though, Howard. Everything has to be done properly and everyone wants it done properly.
Yes, and I think I think it's all a matter of the protocol and the way it has to be done that makes it so difficult. Any player knowing exactly what he could do or what he couldn't do here, well, you'd have to know every single rule inside out. And there's also a problem with the traffic flying by at times. Managed to hold them up. But Robert has dropped the ball. No penalty because he's only dropping the ball from where the spectator allegedly removed the golf ball. And it looks like he's got a little chip shot that could eventually get through. He'll have to keep it very low, but he has got a backswing, and that's the main thing here.
This could be the 4 of all time.
Yeah, certainly could.
Does he have to come over one of these bunkers, Howard?
I can't see through this fence, it's so thick, but he's got to avoid the out of bounds concrete at the moment.
Well, at least it's there in 3. Remember, his provisional is in the bunker prior to that at the front right-hand corner of the green, so that has probably now been picked up. And for his 4th shot, he'll face a relatively easy bunker shot, and if he can get out of this with a 5, he'll walk to the next tee feeling not too badly at all at what's happened. But it's an unnerving start. Double bogey at the 2nd after an excellent birdie at the 1st, a chip and putt from the edge of the green. And it's one of these courses that if you have a run of pars you begin to lose ground, never mind dropping shots.
Well, it looked for all intents and purposes that Robert would be playing a bunker shot, but it would have been for his 5th shot. He's got a nice break here, so if he can get this close, it's a good lie. Well, a little bit scrambled, I think.
Meanwhile, the tournament goes on. David Howell, 2nd shot to the 6th. It's the hole you sort of think of whenever you think of Croix. It's almost totally enclosed in trees. It's all sort of on its own. Only 326 yards. Looks very narrow off the tee with the tall pines lining both sides of the fairway.
There's a very good 3-ball together today. Coulthard, Mosley and Campbell. Campbell, having missed that little putt at the 7th, has made his 2 at the 8th. It's taken him to 11 under, 5 under for the round. Coulthard holds from 20 feet at the 7th for a 2. That's an eagle 2. He's 4 under for the round. And Jared Mosley has had 3 consecutive birdies to move to 9 under. The best ball for the first 8 holes, 8 under.
Another par for Romero in the fullness of time. Else, remember, with a putt of about half that length, which would for his 4th birdie. It'll be Carlson first.
bit longer than the second at the last for Brian Davis, but just as good. Lovely shot, arm shot that, rather than snapping the hands and getting the backspin. Played it towards the pin.
Eduardo Romero has shown Robert Carlson the exact line. It's just outside the right, but a difficult one to judge, the hole being in the shadow of the pine tree.
Some 5. Well, it's probably taken the thick end of half an hour to play. This is what happened to Immelman and Campbell yesterday. They dropped shots early on while the likes of Elson, Romero and Carlson himself went away.
Good 20 minutes I made it that Ernie's had to wait since his second shot. But this a good opportunity again, just a fraction of movement from left to right as he plays it.
Wonderful. That's why he's up there at number 2 in the world. It may have been 20 minutes, but he will have used the time. Keep focused on what's ahead of him, and what a start from Els. 4-3, 2-3. And Romero 2 ahead overnight, now all of a sudden 2 behind.
And that's the difficult part of this 9. He's just played, he's got these short par 4s to come, which may yield some more.
No birdie for David Howell. Remember, he was just on the right edge of the green. Birdie chance now for Brian Davis. Lovely second, that first time we've seen a player actually play the ball towards the pin. Down the shaft, push the ball forward. Second shot that really deserved something better than the par that will be written down on the scorecard.
Michael Campbell coming to the halfway mark, or his halfway mark. Third shot at the night, 632 yards this, although there have been players in this rarefied air that have reached it. And that is going to be an evil pitch back, overdoing it, downhill to the pin. Nothing to stop it apart from the pin itself, I would think. We've been a little bit deprived. We usually get wonderful clear blue skies, and our view has been slightly damaged this week. Apart from Thursday, we haven't been able to see up and down the valley in quite the way we have before. Here's Michael Campbell trying to get down in 2. It's very hard, this. And it's still going to be hard. It's so easy to do. Now, what do you be careful he doesn't turn this into a 7 or an 8 or something. He's a bit closer, but the lie's not very good. That's the trouble from there. There in 5. Pity. It's all been so good. Let's hope we can keep it, the damage to a single shot. 5 under for the round today.
It should be Ernie Els to play first here at the 5th. A little spot of bother. He's on the right-hand side, just missed the right-hand side of the fairway. He's had some ground under repair, and he's taking the drop as we speak, but I don't think it's going to help him that much. Got a very dangerous route to the green that would be under the trees, but it's possible. Only got about 85 yards to the front of the green from there.
Well, it would appear, Howard, that if he's going to drop it, he's got to drop it nearer to the spectators rather than further away.
Possibly, possibly. That is always the problem. He is in the right-hand side of the ground and repair, which is nearer to the trees. But with the drivers, as long as they are, he may just be able to gain a little advantage. If he can get a fraction of angle, it might be of help. But I think he's decided now that it won't be of any help whatsoever. There is a safe route that he can play, that a shot just up into the bank and chip and putt, try and chip and putt for his par through the bunkers there.
News of Carlson and Romero had?
Both hit excellent tee shots after that long wait. And he went with the 2-iron again today, Ewan, and well, he hit the driver in absolutely perfect position yesterday. Tried to chase the 2-iron up the fairway.
It is a surprise because he got it in, what, the front left-hand bunker yesterday?
Yes, he was right up by the green side. It's amazing. Maybe those four birdies have just taken him by surprise as much as anybody else.
Yes, he's almost so. He's a little bit worse off than he was on Friday. Playing it cautiously and got himself into trouble down. He got out of it all right.
Oh, now that is in trouble. That's gone straight right towards the 6th tee.
Wasn't one of those, was it?
No, it wasn't. It hit a branch just 15 or 20 feet in front of him, and it just went straight right into the middle, deepest of the forest. And that's a very surprising mistake for Els.
There are some advertising boards there, so this may take a few moments as well. And as Bruce and you were saying, we timed that 4th hole at 32 minutes. So they're a long way behind the final group. Carlson's had his problems. It's now the turn of Els. It's very exciting to watch, but not for them. Romero about to play. How far's this one, huh?
Yeah, just a sand wedge. He's got 92 yards in my book from the flag, and a good angle to attack this flag. Really just waiting for the huge gallery to settle down a little after seeing what they've just seen.
Well, pretty inaccurate, but the one good thing, he's coming up the hill towards this pin. So, and as it's all tends to be, and certainly Robert Carlson and Brian Davis last weekend got in the same sort of muddle and lost their way, and others came bounding by. It'd be hard to happen for Els and Romero because their lead is considerable. But it could. That's a little bit unlucky. That would have gone back another couple of yards. That would actually have gone all the way down to the hole.
Okay, Howard, your turn again.
Well, I can see Ernie. I can't see the ball, unfortunately. There's quite a clamouring of spectators around the area. There are a couple of advertising boards, as you quite rightly said, and they're between Ernie and the hole, but whether they can be removed, I'm not sure, because they do guard the 6th tee.
Well, the first thing he has to do is get a lift and drop. A free one it will be from the seat. He's right up against the edge of the seat, and that won't be moved. There was a change in European Tour rules about the advertising hoardings. So first things first, and that has to be the nearest point, which happens to be left of the seat, which you wouldn't want to drop the ball there.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have to have you right back.
course, a lot of the advertising hoardings, they've now got sort of movable and flexible ones so they can be moved, but those don't look too movable to me.
How are you, Howard? I would sit down in the seat and tell us a story. This might take an extra few moments again. Astonishing happenings at 4 and 5. It's going to take a good couple of minutes, maybe more. We'll nip ahead to 9. It's Campbell, remember, for a 6. Well, in a tournament professional's mind, there's never such a thing as a good 6, but that's probably as near as it gets.
It is. It surely is, but it's a blot on an otherwise very pretty landscape, which is his card. Well, the first thing is, of course, that's an immovable obstruction, not an integral part of the course, so that will have been a free drop. Good job, John Paramore's there.
The story now is a line of sight ruling, so the first one has been dropped. That's the seat dealt with. Now he has to deal with these hoardings, which are not going to be moved, obviously, which will get him over to the back tee at the 6th. Now the problem may be what looks like an aerial.
Kenron would have thought that the clearest place without any obstructions was further back in the woods.
Well, the angle that he goes back on means that he'll be playing to the right edge of the green, and I think there's 3 or 4 of these advertising boards there, and it has to be nearest point, and then it has to be maximum relief. You have to be clear of that, then drop it within the club length. Whereas Carlson made an excellent 5 at the last, this may turn into a magnificent 4. Do you want to clarify all that for us, Howard, in case we're waffling a little?
I think you've waffled quite nicely there, actually. Yes, the first was to mark the ball, and he would have got a removal situation, a free drop from the bench. But really, these advertising boards and the aerial have decided which was the nearest, and the nearest was to drop it onto the 6th tee, onto the forward tee. And then he had one club length, and then he must drop it in the next club length. So that's exactly what he's done, but it's not an easy shot. It can be anything but easy here. And this, of course, is 3rd shot. There are some overhanging branches, but they're not really, well, they'd be only in his line if he went a little right of the flag.
Took no chances with it, and I suppose when he hit his second, it careered into the woods. He'd probably be quite happy to get away with a 5.
That's the group in front. They're now up by the edge of the 7th. Second of Brian Davis. Very well thought out. Never quite sure what that first bounce is going to do when you're coming from semi.
I would have thought that all 3, Romero would be the closest, but he's off the putting surface, and quite often they let the man away come up. And they get around to doing all the putting. That was nothing too special.
Right.
That's a very nice shot from Jack Lai. Didn't hold the little one at the 4, so that will be his first birdie.
Good lag putt from Carlsen, not one you could race by. Downslope all the way to the right edge of the green there. Probably happy to consolidate this round with a par after all the goings on at the fourth.
Quiet, please.
Well, Els will have learnt a little bit from that, but perhaps not something that he didn't already know. Speed, certainly. Oh, what a fall! What a fall for Ernie Els.
He goes on to win. It won't be the 4 birdies he'll be thinking that gave him the title. It will be the 4 at the 5th. That was like the 4th size saga, that one. And no wonder he's smiling. Wouldn't be at all surprised if he follows that with a couple of 3s at 6 and 7. Never anywhere else. The 4 of the season.
He's got 1 or 2 good memories. That bunker shot he hit on the second day at the 7th hole. Oh, Romero, this for a half sort of thing. He remains a couple behind, parred every hole.
Amazing, isn't it? Carlsen on in 2, Romero off the right in 2, Alson the Woods in 2, and all of them have a 4 written on the scorecard. But 1 hour and 40 minutes to play the first 5 to 7.
Brian Davis, 2 birdies already. Oh, that's good chances he had at both 6 and 7 to get in the battle. Pity. It's still a pretty nice looking car, couple under. But this final round already looking a lot better than the one he had last weekend.
It's one of the best 4s I've ever seen in my pretty lengthy career, I suppose. I think the last one that I saw was at the USPGA, and I'm trying to think, for the life of me I can't think of who it was. Australian from the centre of the fairway, looked like he'd hold his second shot and made 4 hold it after taking a couple of shots in the bunker. Can we name him yet?
Rodney Pempley?
That's the one. Well done. Thank you. I was struggling with that name. But else has found the centre of this 6th fairway anyway, so hopefully no more rulings for John Paramore.
Pampling was struggling at the last out.
That's right.
It was an unbelievable 4, wasn't it? But it makes golf enjoyable to watch. What's this, 5 or 6 iron or something, Romero?
That's exactly right. It's a 6 iron for Eduardo, and really, when you think of the yardages that he's hitting with these mid-irons, it's quite astonishing. Yesterday he hit onto the 16th with a 6 iron, and that was 223 yards. So he doesn't need to hit any further than that.
Couple of big men in this group, tall men, Carlsen and Els, and Romero's no midget, you'll feel a bit that way.
We've said it many times, these holes don't have to be long to be difficult. You just have to tighten them all up. And it shows you that this course didn't really have to be changed too much around the greens. Its difficulty was the accuracy off the tee. The fair footage.
I didn't realise Romero was as tall as that, because he's a big man in every sense. He's a much more heavily set, so he's big all round.
Tidy shot from Jacquelin, middle of the 8th green, putt for 2 there from the lower level. Gallery's crossing over from behind the 5th, across the first fairway, moving across the 9th, that's the bottom left of your screen. And Brian Davis trying to find the correct level at this, the second of the par 3s.
Well, it's out of its pitch mark, and it's at least you got a chance from there. If you miss this green on the left, the whole thing slopes down from left to right. So, of the errors, that's the least damaging. But it was not a good shot, miles offline.
David Hell, coached by Clive Tucker, former member of the PGA European Tour, and quite a lot of changes over the last year or so. David's shoulders used to be very level at address. Now the left shoulder's a lot higher, and the transition from the top of the backswing into the downswing is a lot smoother. Half a club too much there is only crime.
Yes, and probably one of those who just turned it over a little bit left of where he wanted it. Sometimes goes that bit further.
All seems a little regulation. This one, three players hit the fairway. Not very far, just wedges for all 3 players here. 115 first for Else.
There have been a lot of good shots in here because the pin, as you can see, is cut very close to the back edge. And a lot of trouble, bunker over the back.
And they're tucking into a power bar. Nestle Van here all week, the physio unit, which keeps these players in great condition. Any problems they have sorted out immediately. And the problems, I'm afraid, continue for Carlson. Back bunker, onto the downslope with his 3rd shot. He'll do well to get that within 6 or 7 feet. Romero last to play. And you believe he's done the same thing. Wonderful final round. We've had everything so far in the first 6 holes, and the 4 birdies at 1, 2, 3 and 4 mean that Ernie Els is 2 shots clear of Eduardo Romero. Brian Davis has progressed to 11 under par in his quest for his 2nd European Tour win. Coulthard, Mosley and Paul Eales has picked up a birdie at 14. He's gone to 5 under, but it's Else at the top, and the lead is 2 shots. Sky Sports, the host broadcaster, as always in Europe, but we do have international partners, and they're about to get on the air for the last 3 hours of coverage. So while they do that, earlier in the week, I can tell you we sent out our cameras for some fun with the players, and we did have a lot of fun asking them about the country they were visiting this week.
Swiss cheese or cheddar?
Cheddar.
Cheddar.
Cheddar. Neither.
Cheddar.
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 Brie.
Oh, Swiss cheese, definitely.
If I said you had a big pier, what part of your body would I be talking about?
A big pier. I don't really want to talk to you about that. No, thank you very much.
Big pier. That's wonderful, and I wouldn't know.
Foot.
Rolex or Omega?
Rolex. No.
Omega.
you gotta retake that.
Omega.
Both.
Omega. Better get that one right. Oh, Ibel for 5 years.
St. Bernard or Poodle?
Well, since we have a poodle at home, it's got to be that.
St. Bernard.
Poodle.
St. Bernard.
Poodle.
Bernard.
St. Bernard.
Oh, a poodle, thank you very much.
Skiing holiday or somewhere hot?
Oh, skiing holiday.
Somewhere hot.
I wouldn't mind skiing. I've never been skiing.
Somewhere hot.
Somewhere hot.
Somewhere hot.
Hot. Hot. We're hot.
Oh, skiing, definite. Hate the heat.
Toblerone or Mars bar?
Toblerone.
Toblerone.
Toblerone. Both.
Neither, because I'm on a diet. I'm on Atkins diet, no carbs.
Spell Lederhosen.
Lederhosen, you mean?
No, thank you.
L-A-E-D-H.
No chance of that.
O-S.
H-A-U-S-E.
H-N-E.
Name your favourite thing about Cron.
The scenery and the cable car ride.
The food.
Oh, the air.
Views. Oh, it's the Alps. It's the air.
Oh, the scenery.
Well, I can't because my wife is around, but...
Name 2 Swiss golfers.
Andrew Bossart and...
Got me.
But there's another.
Who's the other guy? 2 Swiss golfers. That's plenty of them. I'm struggling. Oh, Jesus. I can't do it. You got me. You're stuck.
It would be Paolo Curici, Andre Bossert, and Julien Clement, but that's 3.
Can you yodel?
No.
No.
Only if I've had a lot to drink.
Don't know what it means.
I have trouble playing golf. What chance have I got with yodeling?
No.
No. No, no chance.
Yodeling.
No.
Yodelahu.
Fair play for having a go.
Very fair play.
I've chickened out every time when it's singing. I've chickened out and everything else. No chickened out.
I think Andy Coulthard should stick to golf. He's out in 32 in this final round. It's taken him to 9 under par. He's just managed to par at the 10th hole, but it's only else that's out in front with 4 birdies and a par so far in 5 holes. Moments ago, this was his birdie putt at the 6th. Slightly misread. Excellent bunker shot from Robert Carson. From behind that bunker, just got it out on the lip, trickled it down, and he looks like he's going to be near enough for a par 4 there. Romero in that same bunker, uphill putt for his 4.
And he falls a further shot behind. Hasn't done a lot wrong. He's lost 5 shots to the man with whom he's playing over the first 6 holes.
And just about everything has happened. Michael Campbell through 10, 10 under par. Campbell playing alongside Coulthard. He also parred the 10. So is Jared Mosley, who's having an excellent round too, out in 33. So all that happened a few seconds ago. We're now live. We're on the 7th tee, and in the hands of Ernie Els, a 3-wood.
Hit over the green the other day with a 3-wood. This is on a good line, but very dangerous to hit to the right side of this. There is out of bounds there. Landed very softly, I can tell you, and that's in not too bad a shape. .280 yards it is from the back tee where the players are to the front edge of the green. And really, when you take 10% off, another, say, almost 30 yards, it's playing about 250, which is about what they would like to hit with a 3-wood. There's a breath of air against the players, and from the left, though.
That's a magnificent stroke. Frank Ifield, that was the fellow who yodeled, wasn't it?
Is that what you've been thinking about? I was actually quite fair. I thought Andrew Coulthard, at least he had to go and he didn't take a bad job of it. The others were all chickened out. Now then, little hiccup for Romero, lost the honour. He needs to get a 3 here, get some red figures on the board, red for birdies. But he'll be pushed from down there. That's a most awkward chip. Of the 2, I'd rather have Els's. simply because there's that much more green to work with, coming from the right of this green rather than the left.
Lovely too from Jared Mosley. And he goes to 4 under for the round. Now, should else make any slips, there's a lot of people just piling up, queuing up, if you like, behind them.
This is for a 3 for Michael Campbell. So that's 2 shots gone in 3 holes. And it's looking like that. 6 was the rhythm breaker. Coulthard with a putt, also to save par.
A player who certainly has the power to reach all the par 5s here, but the 9th is into the wind today. It's not a strong wind, it's 7 or 8 miles an hour, but stronger than it's been over the first 4 days. Good 5 in the end. 1 under for the front 9, takes him out in 35. Mark Farry playing alongside him dropped the shot at 8. He's going to +2 for the final round. And, well, our other team at Sky have nicknamed Paul Casey the birdie machine, but no birdies today. 8 consecutive pars for our star English player.
In fact, that was a 4 for Coulthard. He slips back. This was the group that was really turning the power on the front 9. Campbell and Coulthard out in 32, Mosley in 33, but a little bit of a stumble.
We saw Brian Davis at the 8th, the par 3, just at the top right of your screen there, push his tee shot into the bunker at the right. He did extremely well to get down in 2. 2 putts for Raphael Jacquelin. He also recorded a par 3, but David Hell took 3 to get down from the back edge, so a drop shot there for the man from Swindon, and he goes 1 over for the final round, but still at 8 under for the tournament, and a lot of birdie chances ahead. So much can happen, and so much probably will.
Very close to say who is actually playing next. It looks like it may be Eduardo, but a close call here. Els has found a decent lie on the right side of this green, on the upslope.
And what's the sort of shot to be played from here? It's sort of chip and run and pray for a good bounce.
Exactly, drop this one just short of the green and use the bank just to the left of the flag as he plays it. A shot about 20 yards in total. There it goes, just on that bank, and should turn right.
All in all, an excellent shot from there. You can see how the whole thing tilts from left to right. I could say a bit too strong, but very difficult to judge. Else over the other side, got to come back over the top of the mountain almost.
Well, he can just about play any kind of shot that he wants here, Bruce. He can pitch this one right up in the air and land it, attempt to land it softly, or he can play a pitch and run, just get the ball onto the green and the slope will do the rest. From the upslope, I think the first would be the better idea. Pitch it high in the air and drop it some 15 feet short of the hole.
Good call. That could be off the green and running. Ooh. He's had a 3 here every day, varying different ways. One out of the bunker, one from over the back. Will he make it 4 and 4?
from underneath the tree, Brian Davis has got 112 yards when I say underneath the tree. It's not impeding his swing or anything. It's all uphill into a bit of breeze. They've extended the back of this green, made it a little bit bigger, I should say, at the back. Coming out of the semi-rough, but the lie's okay.
Bunker shot at the last, was it close tap-in putt, or did he have to work for it?
He had to work 12 feet, Ewan. And he's driven that out quite, I was going to say quite nicely, but it's just pulled up a little quicker than he thought, and it's not made its way right up onto the very top.
Caddy Vernon beside Brian there became a dad last month. And he's enjoyed his season alongside Brian Davis. He's worked extremely hard. He had that miraculous start in the US Open, 5 under for the first 4.
Carlson for a 2. There've been quite a few 2s here. Not another one. Good first birdie since the opening hole. Lots of adventures in between.
It's a big birdie for Carlson. He's been through a lot in the last hour and a half or so.
.81 left of the flag for Jacqueline. Well, it's a little bit, only a little bit right of the flag. Now this group really needs to do something, chaps, otherwise we won't be doing a lot of chatting.
I would hate for that to happen, Richard. It's one of the joys of working alongside you.
Got another one. He's got another one. 5th birdie. 5 one-putt greens already today. He really does love this front 9. He's now 20 under. No, wrong, 16 under. Front 9.
Same putt that Michael Campbell missed earlier, and he read a little too much into it as well. 3 missed putts really from Romero. First hole he missed from no more than 4 feet. Didn't get his par putt at the last or his birdie putt there, and around this golf course you've got to putt well from inside 12 feet. Especially when else is in this form. Ahead to 9.
I tell you, these really do look so easy on TV. I have to tell you, they are so difficult to get it dead right. But still well played. As I said yesterday, the grass is, quite tacky, I think is the word you can only use. You have to accelerate the club head through the ball, otherwise it just finishes under your nose.
That's a hole that Mark Farry managed to birdie. It took him out in 37. Farry at 1 over. He's back in 15th place, and we'll just keep an eye on 1 or 2 of the players that are at the wrong end of the Volvo order of merit. The likes of Paul Eales, Mark Farry, and Richard Bland, who's having a quieter day today. 1 birdie, 1 bogey. 4 holes left to play for Richard.
Confirmation of what Richard was saying, Richard Boxall, that is, that it's very difficult to get right. That you'd have felt, or he would have felt, he only had to just get it on the putting surface and gravity would do the rest. So with the pin right at the very back of this 9th, it's an extremely tough proposition as a par 5. Lots of 6s, a 7 from Henny Otto, and not that many 4s.
Just going through a bit of an iffy part in his round at the moment, Brian Davis. He feels he should have really upped and down it on 7 and didn't. A bad tee shot on 8. Scrambling to make his par, and he's a bit of soldier golf up this hole, left, right. And he's a long way away in 3 and just needs to 2-putt this really and get that 9 out of the way and then try and come back in 30 if he can.
That'll be 33 to the turn, 34 to the turn. Par of 36. And not to be sniffed at.
Managed by James Devane, a London barrister who also manages Steve Webster, Gary Evans, Mark Rowe. Got a nice collection of players there. Els trying to just hold this one up. Just hung on to it a bit, and when you do that on these redesigned greens, it always throws the ball off, and once again Els will be left with the shot that Richard was describing moments ago. One that Jacqueline had a couple of minutes ago. That's the better half of Raphael.
Jacqueline not really put a foot wrong on this hole, and he's struggling. I say struggling. Fancy he might hold it, but he's struggling to make his par. You know, good drive, good second, good third. Just a little bit of a hard bounce through the back, and made so difficult to get him down. But good 5 in the end.
Hole that measures getting on towards 200 yards. Small type, beautiful shot from Carlson. It's those sort of things that these golfers are just a couple of good shots, a birdie on the card, and it settles them down, because that was a very unsettling period. 4, 5, 6. Now ready to move forward again. Obviously lost a lot of ground to Els, who's played exceptionally well.
Lower level for Romero, but it's not far away. And he needs to knock in a few putts, otherwise he's going to run out of holes, especially in the form Ernie Els is today. Barry at 7 sees him 4 shots clear at the top. Peter Hedblom once again inside the top 10. 35 out today for Peter. No drop shots in the first 10, 1 birdie at the opening hole. Martin Olander has just had 4 consecutive birdies from the 12th. He's made a move. Ernie Els leading the way by 4, 16 under par for the South African, and a great charge on the back 9 from Paul Eales. Out in 36, and he needed the help of an eagle at 7 and a birdie at 9. He's had 4 more birdies. Eales way down in 135 in the Volvo order of merit. That's a good show. Final group, 8th green.
Not going to get there, is it? Hold nothing. He could have been really quite close if he'd only putted half decently. Still no birdies today. A lot of doubt in that putt. Wishing it to the hole. This will be some too. Beautiful tee shot by Carlson. And he's got it too. He's on the way back. All the dark memories of 2, 3 and 4 now behind him. Els, remember, was off the back of the green with his back left hand side. Awkward little chip. All done quite well to get it there.
It's just checking that no one's on the 12th tee, which is very close to the 8th. Inside right and firm. Anything soft and this will wander across the front of the hole from right to left. Just too firm. And just when it looked like he was building a commanding lead, and there's a slip there at the 8th, it means that there's some encouragement for the likes of Romero, Davis, Campbell. Campbell beginning to run out of holes, and that drop shot at 11 certainly took the sting out of his round so far. Drop shot for Ernie, back to 15.
12th green. Campbell to start moving in the right direction once again. Which he does. Lovely putt. That's better. So often you see good rounds brought to a halt and all the good stuff now with one bogey, and then they don't seem to get any more birdies. And of course he's got a couple of par 5s, that both of which are reachable, and 14 and 15 to come. Still a good score, very good score available.
Tee shot of Else at the 9th, last to play. I think he's taken something out on that golf ball after the bogey at the last. Really launched into that. But someone up alongside him there will be Carlson or Romero. And superb galleries this afternoon. They've come out in this sunshine. It's a lovely day to watch golf. Temperature somewhere around 64, 65 degrees. And last evening we had some fun over at the 18th. Estelle Lefebvre and Sergio Garcia versus Cindy Crawford and Ernie Els. 3 disciplines there were, 3 skills, a bunker chip, a full shot and some putts, and every vantage point was taken. This was Els with the full shot, admired by his playing partner, and no wonder very nearly popped it in. Loudest cheer of the afternoon. For Garcia, a tricky little chip. Funny enough, he had that in regulation play. Second time round he played it a bit better, much to the enjoyment of his partner Estelle there. Then it was the girls' turn. A couple of putts from the back left side. So near for Estelle. They had a lot of fun and everyone stayed behind to watch it. And Cindy Crawford had the final word. The eagle came down, and you see in its claws there, double eagle watches coaxial. It's the new one from Omega, and of course Omega sponsor Ernie Els and Cindy Crawford. Both these faces on their advertising boards throughout the world, and they've got the very latest from the Omega factory. It was good fun, enjoyed by all. Glad we stayed behind and had a look at it.
Absolutely, and I'm very impressive we get the eagle to deliver the watches. I think that's I thought that was fantastic performance.
Well, that was the fun. This is the serious stuff. Final group. And Romero moving down the right side there, as is Carlson. And Howard Clark, no doubt, with his book there, will tell us exactly what they have left for their seconds.
A long way now that the wind has turned into the players' faces, and all uphill, every inch of it up the hill. Over 300 yards to go, and really can only get within 30 or 40 yards if they get a 3-wood or a driver at the ball. Ernie on the fairway, Romero just on the first cut. But first to go it will be Carlson. From a squelchy little lie, this area used to be very wet. Funnel area from the first and the 9th holes, and the 10th for that matter. But choosing the iron just to lay up. Must try and avoid the bunker, which is around 200 yards to carry, and that one solitary pine tree in the fairway on the left side. So try and thread it between the bunker and the pine.
A bit left, flirting with the tree. No, that's fine. That's absolutely spot on. Well done. Certainly for the higher handicap players, the amateurs, that tree in the bunker there, right in the wrong place. Arrow should get past it without too much trouble. Again, you see, not taking the wood, even though you'd have the lie. They want to be a reasonable distance back to be able to hit the ball hard enough and get some spin on it.
And he's trying to chase this one up and try and get the run out on the fairway. It's quite a quick fairway, this one, very firm. But really must try and consolidate here. No worse than a 5 at this 9th. It'll be a good outward 9.
I have a feeling he'll have designs on something better than a 5 after these two.
284 metres to the pin. So what's he come up? Some 25 yards short. And that's the thick end of 280 yards. Uphill into the wind. What wind? They've had some tough pin positions on this 11th hole. Maybe they don't want to give the car away. It's going to roll down. So that's a lovely shot from Kananaka.
He'd be thinking he had a chance to of that Volvo 2.5T, because he would have been looking from back on the tee then, seeing the ball crossing his eye line between the ball and the pin. He won't know quite how near it is, but it is close.
Second shot of Brian Davis out of the rough at the 10th. And that's a very well played. Oof, caught the back with the cup. Great angle to come and attack this hole for. As you can see, dog leg sort of right at the end from left to right. And if you're up the middle of the fairway or on the right side, really no way of getting close.
Always up here in the mountains, we have tournaments within the tournaments. And there's prizes for holes in one. Patrick Sholin winning a watch in round 1.
Thank you very much.
And here's one for you, Briss. Monsieur Chopard winning a watch.
With a Amiga watch for you, okay? The first ever hole in one actually by a Swiss on the professional tour.
Thank
Wonderful.
you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, absolutely certain he needs it, because there's Alexander Chopard. And there's a firm Chopard et Fils, which is jewellers in the town. So they may actually already have a pretty ready supply from Dad's business.
Well done to Omega for putting all these prizes. And their reward, 2 players holing in one. No one's managed a hole in one over at the 11th. But that hole in one today came at the 16th, which was the hardest hole on the golf course throughout the week. So well done to Alexander, as we once again concentrate on the final match. It's Carlson's 3rd at the 9th.
Just 105 yards left to go, sand wedge for Carlson. But really the problem here is trying to keep this ball by the flag. If he gets the ball all the way back to the flag, there'll be a lot of spin with this club for him.
That's a beautiful shot. You can see that back plateau is so small. And if he goes on to make a 4, it'd be his 3rd birdie in a row. And certainly that shot alone deserved it. There's Ernie Elsball at the throat of the green. We've seen what happens. You go hit an ounce too hard. Michael Campbell in the rough at the back. This man needs a birdie, but he's just on the lower level. Not that far away, but it's that sort of day for him. Nothing really. There's been no spark, no inspiration. And once again, 3 putts on the first green. He missed from about 4 feet, and that was, as we said, so often it has, what happens on those opening holes does have some effect. This is Michael Campbell at the 13th for a 2.
Okay.
A hole that caused all sorts of problems. Uphill, narrow green, a hard one as well. A lot of balls have pitched on it and bounced through.
L's next to play for his third shot. 24 paces this pin position is on, 6 behind it. Really the difficulty here is where he does decide to chip the ball. He could chip and run with a 6 or a 7 iron, or he can pitch the ball up with a sand wedge into the second tier and try and check the ball up there. Looks to have chosen the chip and run option, maybe the 8 iron. Much safer route, this one. Must try and keep the hands very firm through impact here. Avoid any wrist break or flick.
I've seen some wonderful chips from Elson when he was winning that US Open, the Congressional. A couple of chip shots he hit there. That was certainly not out of his selected draw.
Good chance this for Brian Davis. Brilliant second shot.
That's more like it. Perfect start to the back nine. Good tidy card too from Brian today. And just before that, Mark Farry managed to birdie that hole. 3 birdies in the space of 4 for Farry. Fighting back, 129th in the Volvo Order of Merit.
Good 3.5, 4 paces. This one short of the hole for Romero. Ball really shouldn't move a lot on this line. But there is quite a bit of grain in this green on the 9th, as there are on most of the holes, but significant grain on this 9th green.
He hasn't hit that one either. 8 and 9, both bang on line. So in the end, it's 9 holes and 37 shots. 30, 33 and 33 on the first 3 days, so not so good.
Awkward putt for Jared Moseley. There's so many of these putts on this golf course where you're down below the level of where the hole is cut. Tough job to get the distance right, but that's all right. That's a par 3, the 13th for Moseley. It keeps him at 10 under.
Tad softer, that would have dropped, as most of them have. So maybe just a vestige of a chance for the others, but he's coming into this back nine, which he really hasn't played at all well. 37 yesterday against a par of 35, 36 the day before.
It's a nice way to come into it, though, with 32 on the card. There, at least he's got something in the bank else.
Pity. Rather like Brian Davis at the 10th. The tee shot deserved better than a 3 there. That was at the 11th.
Around the turn in round 3, these players stumbled. Difficult pin positions, and that one certainly is at 9. What Carlson could have done with that, give him some encouragement going into that last 9 holes. But he's still there at 10 under par. There are 3 of them. Jared Moseley and Michael Campbell maybe beginning to run out of holes, but there is 2 par 5s at 14 and 15, and anything can happen there. The surprise, I think, no birdies for Romero. And it's Brian Davis that joins him in second place. Ernie Els with a 3-shot lead to take into that back 9. Mark Farry now at 7 under par. He's just dropped the shot at the 11th. Els 3 in front, 9 to play. The season just about moving beyond middle age, but still plenty of golf to enjoy on Sky Sports, as Dominic looks forward to what will be a fabulous fall.
Next week, America defend the Solheim Cup in Sweden. And celebrities join the pros in St Andrews for the Dunhill Links. The World Golf Championships are back in October with the American Express. Then it's the European Tour's end-of-season finale. A week later, we'll be at the Tour Championship to see the climax of the US season. Japan defend the World Cup at Kiowa Island. And the President's Cup heads to South Africa, where America take on the rest of the world. Great golf still to come this year, only on Sky Sports.
9 holes to come at Cron. Ernie Els on the 10th tee is 3 shots clear of Brian Davis and Eduardo Romero. And good moves today from the likes of Michael Campbell and Jared Mosley. They're both 4 under for the round. Also at 4 under, Paul Eales, a round of 67, 31 back. And what a performance that is when you have to make a healthy check to get your card at the end of the year. So good stories developing all round as we once again rejoin the action. This is Swindon's David Howell.
Hit a good tee shot, David, and unfortunately got a bit of backspin. Rolled all the way back down the green, left him a very difficult chip. And as you see, coming up short.
And Richard, it's not a big green anyway. It falls off all round, particularly on the left side.
Yeah, a little bit like an upturned saucer, Bruce. They all, yeah, Brian Davis hit a good tee shot. He caught the right edge of the green. Nearly got that out then. He's run over the back, but he can putt from where he is. And Rafael Jacqueline, second shot, par 3, going with a 3-wood.
That's right. I must admit, I've had a few goes with this, doing this. I need to do a lot of practice before I could doing this. It's sort of what some people use, a little chipper. They sometimes have them in there as a lofted putter.
Do you remember the first man to do that run on the European Tour, Bruce?
No, but you'll tell me.
I can, Glenn Day.
What, using the 3-wood?
Yeah, I mean, he was in the group in front of me once, and I thought, tell you what, he's going to have to go right down on the shaft on this if he wants to get it close.
Well, it's certainly become popular. I think the first time I saw David Ledbetter was recommending it in one of his instructional programs. But it really is. The hole measures 206 yards on the card, and it's a small target and a lumpy one. And of course the greens today, Richard, well, it's just like yesterday. They're very firm still.
Yeah, even more so than yesterday, I would say. And at 199 yards, that was only a 7-iron that Brian Davis hit off the tee. He is a little bit down breeze, slightly off the right, but this is fairly flat to start with, and then straight downhill at the end. Should move left to right most of the way.
On you go, on you go. Beautiful putt. And now with a share of second place. Of course, he was off the green, so he was entitled to use the pin to stop him if he needed it. And of course, all modern pins now as such, they're all slim. They can plenty of room for the ball to get in beside him.
Nice little bit of rub of the green here for Romero. Pitched the ball into the trees, got a good bounce out from them. And just a sand wedge to the front edge from 112 yards, but he's playing it safe to the left side of the green.
We saw what happened to Carlson yesterday. They were playing together, and in the end, Robert Carlson had more troubles, went through trees, and in the end got down in 2 from the bunker beyond the pin for a 6. So he does have a bit of a hiccup. It's a big one. Who's next, Howard?
Ernie to play next, and he's had an even more fortunate break than that of Romero. pitched his ball right into the fir trees. It ricocheted out, hit a spectator on the back, went back into the trees, then hit another tree and came back out to the position that he's at now. So he's had a few little
ping pong,
complete bagatelle maybe. He's had just a little shot here with a lob wedge from 86 yards. He's got a very good lie, but I don't know whether he can stop this quick enough. You really have to get the hands moving swiftly through this ball.
And once again he turns for home and hits a rank bad shot off the tee. So in his mind he doesn't play these 9 holes terribly well. Certainly is the wrong angle to tackle this pin. He's played that as well as he possibly could. Wonderful judgment. Only 3 or 4 paces beyond the bunker that pitched. Blind shot. And Carlson today on the fairway.
Yes, and in one stroke today, Bruce. Just 73 to go. 61 yards to the front of the green. And with the lob wedge, he may be able to control it, but it's a very tight pin position. Must bring the bunker into play.
And all credit to him, that's a lovely golf shot. Land that between the pin and the bunker and stop it, putt for a 3. Gain a bit of revenge for yesterday.
He settled down nicely, Carlson. Started to play some good shots. That tee shot at 8 was impressive as well. Campbell down the left of 14, the first of the 2 par 5s. Now is the lie good enough to chase this on? Dangerous second, water right. He's made a wonderful job of that. That's a fabulous golf shot.
He was a bit unlucky yesterday, went bounding through the green. That's what happens later on in the year, and the golfers depart down the hill and up come the skiers. Then when spring comes, we're back on the links again. The clarity of the air here has to be experienced. It's very difficult to put into words. That the famous 6-hole, one of the narrowest I should think on the European Tour. Trees laden with snow. Practice range over there. Where many balls have been thumped over the last 5 days, and that's what it looks like as we move towards Christmas. It's a very special place, Crom. Hosted wonderful championships over the years. Great names in the trophy too, and this year it moves past its 80th year. That's a class shot from the Argentinian. Still only be a par, still hasn't made his first birdie yet. Same story for Paul Casey. Strangely enough, Casey threw 11 holes, 11 consecutive pars, most unlike him. Another one, Bjorn, who missed a short putt on the first green, and he got in for a birdie. Who knows what might have happened. He's had a couple of chances since then, but nothing's touched the hole. Well, I know you fancied him to go through the field today, and you said just before we went on air when we looked at that putt that if he could knock this in, it might just get him on his way. If not, he may find it a bit of a struggle to get the momentum, and that's exactly what's happened. Well, it's something that happens time and again. Else, well, long birdie chance, but after his tee shot, he'd be happy to make 4. Which he will do in the fullness of time. Keep his lead, but once again turning for home. A wicked tee shot. He's had a couple of good breaks. 3 drop out of the trees at the 5th was one of them. Nearly drove this green earlier in the week. He got within, I think, 9 yards of it, which is a healthy smack. It's 407 yards. It was probably in his mind again because the wind is helping off this tee. It's a cold wind that comes down off the glacier, coming from the sort of north-east.
If he can put this just outside the left edge, I think he'll hold this one, Robert Carlson. But he hasn't had a lot of luck with the putts apart from the 8th.
Safely in. Lovely start to the back nine, a hole that caused him all sorts of problems yesterday down the right like else. And in the end, it was a first-class double bogey. Today, he gets his own back. And Romero left with a putt of around 12 inches, and that's a tidy par for Romero. Stays at +1 for the round, 12 under for the tournament. And some excellent golf being played today. 67 from Paul Eales and Miguel Ángel Jiménez. 68s from Nathan Fritz, Martin Olander and Matthias Eliasson.
Long eagle chance. And he's still going to work for his birdie, Michael Campbell. Sponge is caddy. From Australia. Worked with Baker Finch, Robert Allenby, Roger Davis, caddied for all of them, been around a long time. Now, not often do you see players using drivers at the 12th, but it's turned back into the breeze, and normally at about the 270, 280 yard mark, there's a sharp drop down into a gully, and most of the players prefer to be short of that and give themselves a decent stance and a decent lie.
Breeze picking up, helping the players from right to left here. And really, I think the flag is probably in the most favourable position I've seen at this 11th hole this week. It's a difficult one to get close to all the same. You have to carry the first bunker on the right hand side and then drop the ball down into the hollow there. 200 yards. And Robert Carlson has chosen an 8-iron. He did have a 7-iron out, and this I think is probably the right club for him. He needs to drop this ball about 185 on the right edge of the green.
Again, like the 10th green, the green slopes from right to left. It's at a little angle, pin cut in there, and that is not the side to miss it. You can see all the way from, once it gets on the green, it's downhill all the way. Difficult. And a green that is both hard and sort of set up in the air a little bit. Hard to keep your ball on it even if you hit your tee shot on it.
8-iron also for Romero. Yes, I agree with that, Bruce, because if you pitch the ball anything left of centre, it will feed off and miss the green on the left. So that's what the players are looking at. You really have to hit a hard cut against the breeze here, which Romero has tried and succeeded, I think. It hasn't stopped though yet.
No, that's what happens. That's what we were talking about.
I think that's unfair. Paul Eales had a lovely tee shot here yesterday, and the ball was thrown off the back left. Although he made a couple of mistakes, I'm not sure it deserved a 6. It's long enough par 3 too.
Well, it's over 200 yards. And we said before, these are not big greens, not in the modern tradition. Of course, the merged as a championship course after the war, just immediately after the First World War, Second World War.
Very inventive camera work there. And an inventive tee shot that just about hangs on to the back edge of the green. Another couple of rolls and that was off.
One of the chasing few. Michael Campbell. This for a birdie at 14, which he would deserve after 2 lovely shots onto this par 5. Just a shade under 600 yards in length. And he's got it. Well done. And picking up momentum once again. Pick up round the turn, a 6 at 9 and a drop shot at the 11th, but moving in the right direction once more.
There's an awful lot can happen over the closing holes here. We've had eagles and birdies throughout the year. Of course, you never take anything for granted.
That's a brilliant shot. Carlson from there, only inches from leaving it in the sand. Took a gamble, stopped it, pitched it in the rough. Well done.
Paul Casey has broken the sequence of pars, sadly the wrong way. Taking 5 at the 12th. Takes him to 7 under. Mark Fanny with a 4 stays at 7 under. And from the left edge of 11, Romero. Long putt, hard to give this one enough. Straight up the hill. He's made a pretty good job of it. Sneak preview of the 17th you had there. Ellsbury's 2 at 11.
I would probably rate this 11th almost unplayable with the breeze conditions, and a marvellous job Ernie Els did to get this ball here. Still a difficult putt though, over and down the slope.
Well, that was the difficult bit, judging the pace, because it's a very sharp rise to start with. And not yet dead. He's going to make the best of his way home.
It's a fast finish, Campbell, and he can post a score.
Go. Go.
Nobody wanted to go at 15. No birdie for Andrew Coulthard at the 14, so his chance may be gone of winning, but another good finish in front of him, I'm sure.
That's a great 3. As good a 3 in its way as the one he got at the last.
He looks to me to be the most comfortable. I know he's 4 shots off the lead. I know he's had the problems the first few holes, but he's coped with that admirably, and he's focused on what's ahead. He's got his 2 threes to start back with. But a good 2 putt from Els keeps him at 15 under, and it also keeps him 3 clear.
Still no birdies for Romero. Probably have to wait now till 14 and 15. Well within his lexicon of holes to pick up shots on.
Sand to sand at 12 for Davis, 3rd shot. You can only see the top of the flag here. Trying to cut it and use the step that goes across the green. Well, he had to hit that so hard to get the elevation on the shot. If he tried to flop that, it would have been very easy to leave it in the bunker. Tee shot to blame, finding the sand down the left. As always, plenty to play for. Just under a couple of £100,000, the first prize. And even down in 29th place, you have over £10,000. So at this stage of a Sunday afternoon, each shot is highly important, and each shot dropped is hugely expensive.
He's got really unlucky here, Brian Davis. He's gone right up against the fringe at the back of the green. He's got his 5 wood out. Just try and bubble. It's pretty quick. Well, you take... I hope you won't take 6 here. You take 6 here, that is not good news.
It's caused an undue amount of trouble, that hole. Was weak. Here's Michael Campbell, still able to go for the green, and you've got to be very careful as you don't lose your footing in the loose sand with the full shot.
It's a great shot from Campbell. It may be turning a bit too much right to left. It's funny, that second shot, Bruce, has never changed over the years. I think I played here 30 years ago, and there's a little V in the trees beyond this green, and if you fire it on that V, you'll find the middle of this green. That one was just veering a touch left of it. Fine recovery, though.
So it has become, with the change of wind, this has become a much tougher proposition. You're practically straight back into a breeze that's as strong as at any time this week. That looks left. Miles left. Miles left. Maybe so far left it's all right.
It's way over by the 17th green. Opening up the green, pin on the right.
We shall see. That's a really crooked one. That's what he was trying to hit.
Romero with his driving iron, trying to start it just inside the bunker and let it fade from left to right. He's made a lovely job of that.
It's going to be an interesting second shot from Robert Carlson. I was going to suggest that if you could actually put the ball in this fairway, it becomes a birdie hole, but looking at where the flag is, far from it. You probably can play safe to the middle of the green and get as near as anywhere going at the flag. So fairway's a must here for Else. Just to the left side, it does swing quite a lot from left to right, this hole, and the slope of the fairway is accentuating the dog leg. This is going left as well, though. Going to be problems here.
Not for much longer.
That's unbelievable, because remember, he twice went into the trees and came back out on the 10th. That's a real break. What this hit, actually.
Just got the back of a spectator. Sting taken out by the first bounce being into the turf. You have to be more than good. You need a bit of luck now and again, and he certainly had it at 5, and that's an astonishing break there, because if that ball continues on the line it was travelling, he's blocked out for the second.
Absolutely. You say the 5th, the 10th. There he went in the trees, came out, hit a spectator, went back into the trees and still came out again. Up ahead, though, crucial putt for Brian Davis, only to drop one shot. Oh no. Hardly any backswing to that. As you said it, at this level, shots dropped are very expensive luxuries.
It's in a tie for second with Romero. All of a sudden a double bogey and you're back into 5th, and the chasing pack are breathing down your neck. The likes of Coulter, Mosley, Manuel Canonica, who also dropped the shot at 12. That's why he's back at 8 under par. And Raphael Jacquelin also at 8 under, drop shot at 10 for the Frenchman. Has it all to do once again, Brian Davis, but he does have these 2 par 5s ahead of him. Confirmation of the drop shot from Casey. David Howell's having a rough afternoon, but Sergio has had an eagle at the 15th. Now this man here with a bump in his head, I thought it came off the back of a spectator, the tee shot of Else over at the 12th, but there's the evidence, and that will be a nasty bump and bruise in the hours ahead.
Well, he seems all cheerful, but that's actually, when that does, it gives you a tremendous shock, and you can actually have side effects from the shock of it as much from the headache you must have from from what the ball did to it. And it only just missed his eye by a couple of inches. He may be proud of it, but not good. Those, of course, those green things are to hoist skiers up the mountain at other times of the year. Are they in his way at all, Howard?
Well, he's using one of those as a guideline, Bruce. He has to just avoid that, and that will give him a good guide to go over the hill. Totally blind shot here, and from the yardage I make him, about 180 yards or so. And of course there is out of bounds that is quite close to the right hand side. It's the practice ground. You don't want to get a flyer here, and it's a thickish lie, so beware. He doesn't like it, does he?
No, you can tell backing off, and it's confirmation he's gone to his caddy fort. Change your clubs. Down or up, Howard?
I think down, to be honest. Yes, he's gone down to a 9-iron, and that shows you how he's trying to attempt this shot. He's making sure that it doesn't go over the green. He's got a chance if he puts it short and left of the green. That might be the sensible play.
Job he did go down the club in that case. That's past pin high. Difficult chip he's got down the slopes. 9 iron, 180 yards, and the wind against you.
And just a wedge for else. That shows you how much downwind, well, crosswind it is actually at the moment. Very much downhill. There's just a wedge. 153 yards for else. Certainly could play it to the bank in the middle of the green and get a bounce to the right. I think he's missed that.
He has indeed. He's on that upper level, and that will be an extraordinarily difficult two-putt from there. It's a hole that almost turns at right angles from left to right for the second shot. The wind not in their faces.
Quite sure. Well, that's finished up, clattered into the fir trees at the back of the green. Romero, of course, now having to press. Try and go after a few birdies, and sometimes the odd mistake can be made when you do that.
It's Michael Campbell, who didn't play the best of bunker shots. And his desire for 2 birdie falls in a row has not transpired. Still work to do for his par.
Couple of 100 yards, the 13th. Good tee shot from Davis. It is annoying when you're short on line, but 3 here is quite a good score. And it's an awkward hole, green that's above the level of the tee. You never see the bottom of the pin. His tournament chances hinge on the 2 par 5s, 14 and 15. I gave you the news of Sergio Garcia's eagle at 15. He had a birdie at the 17th, and here he is at 18, trying to finish off in style. It's a round of 70 for Garcia. There's not much wrong. There's not quite enough spark. There's no tournament victories, but he did enjoy a trophy earlier in the week, and that was for his exploits down at Royal St George's. The Royal Bank of Scotland shot of the month went to the Spaniard. The situation was the 17th, and what an arena to perform something like this.
Congratulations, Sergio, on winning the Royal Bank of Scotland Shot of the Month for July.
Thank
well
you.
done.
Thanks a lot.
do get the feeling it won't be long before he holds a few more trophies in these highly talented hands.
Actually, again, one would have thought the difficult bit was to get the pace right, but he did that okay. It was the line didn't work out too well. Probably didn't see that run from right to left.
Three holes from home, Campbell's tee shot at 16. That's a little unlucky. That tee shot deserved to be closer than that. Right at the pin. Another one of these crumpled greens.
Romero's been very fortunate here to find such a good lie and a clear shot back to this 12th green. Should be able to punch this through the grass and run it up. That's nice there.
It's been a struggle for Romero, though, Howard, ever since he got off to that 3-putt on the first green.
It probably did affect him, yes. And it was a strange start yesterday after, well, I think he's played the first 9 so well this week, hasn't he? And really the shock of the start and the pressure put on by Ernie Els has really has given him something to think about and maybe just put him off his track a bit. I think the pressure that Els put on early on would have affected anybody's thoughts, to be honest. It's a tough 2-putt from here, though. He could easily, quite easily, putt this off the green and down the slope again.
Well, it was absolutely on the same line as Robert Carson. He made the same mistake. That's extraordinary. I thought he'd have taken advantage of that. He certainly was looking.
May well have been the only line that he could get the distance right. Had he gone to the right-hand side, the slope there steeper, and maybe he had in the back of his mind what Howard was saying, that you could de-green it.
I think that's exactly right, yeah, and he couldn't afford to put that past the pin. If it had gone a couple of feet past, it may have gone off the green and down the slope.
More turn than they think from that side. Full Brian Davis, it's now full Robert Carson. Once again the tee shot to blame for.
Very similar line for that of Els now. He must have seen that break to the left. But really this whole 12th green is not a good surface. It defies any kind of golfing logic. It does swing the opposite way to that of what you would think. And maybe they have to relay this green because it has sunk and dropped in a few places. So just on the right edge, quite firm, if you can dare be firm on this 12th green.
Good 2-putt it was in the end, and as happened earlier today, he had learnt a lot from the previous putt. It was on the 5th green, and again Carlson was the one who went first on exactly the same line, able else to get his 4 and halve the hole, not to drop a shot. And this is a bit longer than it looks, probably a good 3.5, 4 feet. And a vicious swing.
He was never aiming on the right side of the hole there. I always got the impression if he hadn't hit that hard enough, he was going to miss it left. And that would have been a real shame, because it was a lovely third shot from an awkward place. He's hanging on. He's still the nearest challenger. courtesy of Davis's problems, and Michael Campbell not making the birdie at 15. Andy Coulthard's tee shot at 16's found the front right-hand bunker. He didn't birdie 15 either, Coulthard, so no change out of the 2 par 5s.
It's not an easy bunker shot, that one, with a step in the green.
No, he was trying to chip and run it rather than blast it, because it was right up against the edge of the
Stand right back there, please.
the rim of the bunker, the lip of the bunker. Got work to do now just to drop one shot there, Coulthard.
Very similar in length, 11th and 13th holes, just a couple of yards between them. 202 yards, but straight into the breeze this. And Eduardo thinks he can get there with a 6 iron. I'm sure he's right.
No, he's not, Howard. He could have got there with a 7.
That's amazing.
He hit 7 yesterday, didn't he?
He did. Yes, that's amazing. It's quite a stiff breeze against and uphill. 202 yards to the flag. Only 3 behind it, really. Cardinal sin to go over the green.
Else could do with avoiding that bunker on the right, Bruce.
Been in there twice. He's been in the one on the left once, and he hasn't got down in 2 out of any of them. So he's had 3 4s on this hole. And that's still, however good you are, is in your mind. You come here anxious about the hole, with doubts of your ability.
Six iron also for Els.
He's found the green this time, all right. Not that close, we'll be thrilled to bits with that. Another of these very hard putting surfaces. It's set up in the air a bit. And this course is drier than I've ever seen it.
Also a 6 iron for Carlson, and really again still between clubs. He is very long with his irons. His irons are a good 2 inches longer than standard.
That's because he's about 4 inches longer than standard, 6'5". In the end, that won't be too bad. Although again, there's a bit of a slope to cope with from down there.
Let's go over to the next hole, the 14th, where Brian Davis has had a fine tee shot. Brian, you never really got onto your right side. Don't tell me. Ugh. I think he is one of the best swings on the European Tour, but there are times under pressure he hangs on his left side, it steepens the downswing, and you saw how quickly that ball moved into the air, and with the left to right movement on it. Not a pretty. 16.
A good try. But it's been a little bit a case of 3 paces forward and 1 back. A wonderful start, 5 under through his first 8 holes. And reclaiming a bit of the ground he lost yesterday when he went round in 73. End of summer at home, the end of summer coming here. Almost an autumnal nip in the air. 13th green, Robert Carlson. And the difficulty with this is he's, what, 18 inches below. That gives you an idea of where the pin is. Bit of a slope to cope with. Got to throw it up in the air, which always puts a lot. He's played a beautiful shot. He's got some wonderful recovery strokes in his locker. Should become a par 3 in the fullness of time. Well, it may not be a birdie, but it's better than he's done on the three previous days. 3 4s and now a 3. And the great thing is it keeps his lead intact. And Romero went bounding through this green and remains the nearest challenger. I would probably not the worst recovery shot from Romero to get this close.
It's one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't, Bruce, and he almost hit the ultimate shot, which is just about what he required. Almost got the distance, but had he gone a few feet past, it would have ended up 20 or 30 feet past. So yes, a good recovery this one, but a slippery little putt this one. Back down the slope.
I think everything moved as he hit that. The head, the shoulders, a real shove. And it just makes life easier for the leader. No birdies. And on this course, which is, well, was he 261, he was something like 23 under par when he won 3 years ago. It's a place that and people have been around here in 60. Jamie Spence. They were having a bad day with no birdies. Good up and down.
And he else, of course, at the top of the Volvo order of merit. And should he go ahead and win here, he will extend that lead over Darren Clark. Trevor Immelman struggled yesterday. That's 75 for Trevor. Another player at the end of a long run of tournaments. Stephen Leaney, playing stateside and in Europe now. And Adam Scott is somewhere around 8 shots off the pace going into the final round of the Bell Canadian. Paul Casey, birdie-less today. That's a surprise. Ian Poulton, a week off. Same story for Philip Price. Harrington will be back soon. He's a daddy now. And Thomas Bjorn, well, it's been a struggle over the last couple of months. He's faced up to what happened at Royal St George's impeccably well. Darren Clark, winner in the States, always wanted to do that. He's got the match play, he's now got a stroke play event. But what an opportunity for Els to extend that lead at the top of the Volvo order of merit. And who knows, he may change his schedule by the end of the year. He'll want to be #1 in Europe. That's the way it stands currently. It will all change, of course, in about a couple of hours from now.
Jared Moseley at the 17th. He's just had he's tripped up after getting to 4 under par. He bogeyed 14 and 16. So everybody's stumbling a little bit on this back nine. Oh, and maybe another stumble here. And once again, they know, as we know, that when you're up in the top half dozen and you start dropping shots, you're spending a lot of money.
Lovely drive from Campbell. See the wind just picking up there and taking an extra practice swing. Off hoping it will settle. Now not tugging at the trousers. Nearly good. Needed to carry another yard or so. That will fall off the back of the green. Another one of these, like a saucer the wrong way around.
And I must say, they've got that, they say on the chart, they say the pin is 24 on 6 from the left. What they don't add in is the fact it's about 1.5 from the back. I mean, that's an extraordinary place to put a pin.
Made harder by the fact it's downwind too. And after the second at 14 in the water, this is for a 5 now for Brian.
Coulthard last to play at the 17th. He too, of course, took 4 at the last. So many of the chasers are stumbling a little bit, or making Ells's job a little bit easier.
He hasn't relearnt, if you like, the art of getting a few birdies on the back 9 on Sunday, Andrew. He's been through a downside in his career. His last 4 tournaments have been exceptional. He's been up there challenging. He's been putting plenty of money in the bank, and he'll put some more in today. But if you look at his figures, the last birdie he had was the 6th. He did eagle the 7th, but from there it's all pars on the 1 drop shot at 16.
That was a good putt for Raphael Jacquelin. He was just saying, once again, it's noticeable that the par 3s here, and there are 5 of them, are some of the hardest holes on the course. The 16th and the 13th have taken no end of hostages. That's why we've got a par of 71, 5 short holes. Now we know the difficulty here to get this close. You've got a risk running off the back. Didn't need a lot more. You can see there's that little plateau where the pin was on Friday up on the right. And he just had to get over that and down the other side. Here's Brian Davis, it's for 6. And a 6 it is, almost the inevitable consequence of a second shot like that. And when you've got an iron in your hand for your second shot, it's the equivalent of 2 shots dropped. The rest have been so good up till then.
Come on, in you come, in you come. Lovely 3 from Andy Coulthard, and he's broken that sequence. His coach Dennis Pugh will be delighted. He's put him back on track, and Coulthard has gone back to 9 under, and what he would do for a birdie at the last. Already had a look at the prize fund. He can make a 3 at the last and get to 4th. That's worth over £50,000. Timely birdie, that one.
It is, and Campbell thinking much the same with the pin out, although I think with the difficulty, it's the slope up is quite steep until you get literally a couple of paces from the hole. Difficult shot, this.
He's back for Michael Campbell. He's had 2 spells in his career and he's been as low as any professional golfer would get. Came back to Europe to try and rebuild his confidence. Didn't only do that, but joined the winner's circle once again. And I'm sure Coulthard will do that before the year's out. It's been an excellent summer for him. After a disappointing couple of years, it must be said, having made the Ryder Cup side over at Boston in 1999, he might well be a strong candidate for the team next year.
Jared Moseley, who showed pretty well back in May when he was second to Ian Poulter at Celtic Manor, but done really nothing since then. Never quite refound the form that took him to victory over else in the Heineken at the Vines. Just a minute, I think I would have had Campbell's marker move. That to me is just about the line it's coming over.
I think it will come from further right than that, just simply because of that slope he has in front of him once it starts turning. Maybe only a third of the hole in play here, the front right hand corner of it. It's as hard a pin placement, I think, as I've seen that one. Did well to get the speed right. Maybe wanted to hit the marker to stop the ball. There's not much room beyond the hole.
Yes, because he finished as far right of the hole as the ball passed the markers. But it's 3 shots dropped in 4 holes for Mosley. Bobby
Carlson worried about his second at 14. And he has every right to be.
Not an easy shot this, and not an easy choice. Very difficult to lay up. It's a long way to the green. It's 248 yards to the first cut of the green. He really has to carry the ball at least 220. The out bounce over the back of the green is definitely in play, unless you can get control on this ball.
It's not that far off the green too.
Extraordinary thing, he'd have seen that coming straight at him. Thought he'd have got out of the way, that chap.
Can Romero find that gap at the front of the green? Dear, dear, dear. They're making the job of else a lot easier than it really should be. Sure, else won't mind that. 2 bad mistakes there. It's what happens when you get into their position and you're pressing for birdies. Mistakes will always happen.
A good par in the end from not very far over the back.
There could be big changes afoot. Now, my producer's just been on in the earphones and I've been told to link to Dom, but having seen the VT red beside me, I'm afraid I'm overcome with jealousy. Go on, Dominic.
Well, it's not often you get a chance to talk to a supermodel who's also an actress, a mum, and recently an author as well. But it's a warm welcome to Cindy Crawford, who's obviously in Cron this week, keeping an eye on what's going on in the golf. You had a successful start, obviously, last night, Cindy, with your double eagle victory. How is it to play with Ernie?
You know what, I met Ernie last year at the same Omega European Masters, and we became friendly, so it was great to be on his team, and I told him I wanted to win, and we did, so that was fun.
Now, I know your schedule doesn't allow you to play too much golf, but I wondered if you had seen Annika Sorenstam play earlier this year at Colonial and what you thought about that.
Well, I saw a piece on her actually on 60 Minutes in the United States, and it's very exciting to see a woman who's playing at that level. I think for sure she's a big inspiration to women who feel like it's men's sport.
What about Cron? You've been here several times now. What do you enjoy most about this place?
Be careful, you're about to get stung by a bee. Sorry.
There we go, little friend.
Okay, go away, fly away. Oh my.
There we go.
Well, other than the bee problem, this is my 4th time here in Cron, and I mean, look at it. It's beautiful. Even if you don't play golf, just to walk this course and be outside in this gorgeous weather and look at the mountains is fantastic. So I love coming here every time. I'm happy to be the patron for Omega of this tournament, even though I'm not a very good golfer.
And career-wise, what's your next step? Because you've done some acting, obviously, and had a successful film as well. There's the modelling that you've written a book recently. recently as well. What's next?
Well, right now I am launching a perfume. I'm actually launching it in Vienna on Wednesday, and I'm working on a skincare line that will be out in the United States next year. So, I mean, my kids and my husband, they take up most of my time, but I do love my job, and as long as they're letting me do it, I'm taking advantage of it.
I don't think we need to ask you who you want to win here, do we?
Well, I hate to be partial, but you know, I got to say Ernie's my man, and he's pulling through. It looks like so. I got my money on Ernie Els.
Yeah, your money's well placed, I suspect. Cindy, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
I always wanted to be a presenter. And the way he blew the hornet off his fingers somehow added to that little piece down by the practice range. Ernie Els is in pole position, and there's still 5 holes left to play. The first 2 days were 2 days of excellence. Yesterday the big boys stumbled, and the challengers are doing the same in this 4th and final round. Ernie Els has had a couple of bits of good fortune, which he's made the most of. This is the final group. It's the 14th, Carlson's 2nd in the water, and this now is 4th.
What became a golf course, this used to be a cow pasture, a sort of shelf up in the mountains. They've still got a few cows there. You can hear them down and a little bit down in the valley. That's the bells you can hear ringing. Trying to limit the damage, trying to make it no damage at all. But the pins that side, the greens are firm. Got to hit it hard to get it up. And just making Els's job that little bit easier.
Good tee shot from Coulthard at the last. Took the bunkers out of play. Good follow through too. Firm wrist, drove the arms through. Could have done maybe with half a club more, but that's a good shot from there. It's blind for these players down the bottom right hand side of the fairway at 18.
Good breaks continue for Els. Could have been a lot worse off this, but he's hit a very clumsy chip. That could finish off the green. Amazing. It's not easy from there either.
Extraordinary shot from a player of that caliber. But he has found this back nine not to his liking any of the 3 days, and well, it went off in my hand, sir.
Tall peaks in the background, Campbell in the foreground, second at the final hole. Coulthard's line, Campbell's length, and that would have been a couple of threes.
And if he were to knock that in and get to 12 under, it might pose a problem. There's another clumsy chip back. That's 4. And hit that very quickly. Well, even for the best, winning sometimes isn't easy.
Eduardo now chipping. That was his 5th shot, so that will at best be a 6.
We had a spell like this yesterday around the turn, Bruce, and I guess you have to take on the challenge of 14 because it's reachable in 2, and it's a very small piece of land at the end of it.
Well, it is, and you've got the added problems of out of bounds beyond as well as the pond on the right. But it's extraordinary that they somehow managed to play the front nine so well and then find so much difficulty on this, because the course doesn't change character at all. There's not a great deal. In fact, this back nine is shorter. And with 3 birdies in 4 holes from the 8th, he felt he was back in the tournament and had overcome a bad start. Now he's given a couple of them back again. So a topsy-turvy round from, well, remember, still the defending champion until an hour or so from now. The putt has saved him quite often today. He used it to make some of those birdies in the first few holes. But he's had a number of good putts, particularly at 12, 11. And there, par savers the 5th.
Coulthard, 18th green. Still 1 test left. What they always do on a Sunday, a glance over the shoulder, look at the scoreboard at the left of the 18th green. They'll go to 15, Brian Davis, see if he can get this round back on track.
He was in the bunker short left in 2. So these 2 par 5s where all these players can get up into have cost him at least 1 shot. He's still got a bit of work not to drop another there.
Last throw of the dice for Michael Campbell. He on the top level, down the slope. Well, they gave it a chance, and he gave that final round a real run, Campbell. It was lovely to watch. 5 birdies in the first 8, another couple in the back 9, 7 in all. And should he knock that in, it will be a round of 66.
Level today at 1.3 under through 10 holes. And I've got the 2 birdie chances. He's got a very difficult par 3 and then 2 shortish par 4s that close this course out.
Pleased for Paul Eales, that's been a wonderful performance. He was tied 28th going into the last round, 67 up into tie for 10th. Michael Campbell and Romero 11 under, Ernie 4 clear with the support of Cindy Crawford. It's unfair at times, Carl.
Yeah, he's got to play golf with her. Sat with her at the dinner. But got to be a good golfer to get those perks, or a presenter on Sky.
Well done, Andrew Coulthard, and it's been a fine 5 tournaments over the last 6 weeks. 2/3 of 4th for 13th, and at 9 under, currently in a tie for 5th. That may get better. That is more like it. See the wind tugging at the tree in the left there. I think that's made this back 9 more difficult because it's higher up, it's more exposed.
It has, and the wind is coming or blowing in that direction down the way. It's coming from the east. And quite chilly. So winter is not far away up here. Best part of 6 months covered in snow, and a great skiing resort, not probably in the as well known as St Moritz or Gustard, just over the top of the mountain to our right.
Final putt for Michael Campbell, a successful one. 66 it is. And that's so far the best of this Sunday. Will it be good enough? Well, the tournament really is in the hands of Ernie Els in the middle of that 15th fairway, and probably with not much more than a 5-iron to go for his second shot. A great performance on the front 9 has given him the platform once again to be a winner.
.519 yards, all uphill into the wind. And he's drawn that a bit very narrow target. Oh, and he's tiptoed past the trouble. And really doing well, as I say, he's had the odd break and really another bit of one there, but those are two fine shots in the freshening breeze.
An amazing season so far. Loch Lomond, Lake Carrinup was the Johnny Walker, down by Perth, the Heineken. He also played some lovely golf on the US Tour. Dubai really should have won. Singapore Masters, well, that was taken by a birdie at the 18th from Zhang Lianhui. So it's been a year of excellence, and well, I guess you can look back on any year and think it could have been better, but the start Els had was quite sensational. And here he is in excellent shape with 4 holes to play, high up in Crom.
Well, he's won 3 major championships, and when you look at those figures, he's been in contention for 3 or 4 times as many. And Paul Casey, who at 15th had his first birdie of the day, but is still 1 over par, and in not the prescribed place here at 17. This is the hole with the pin in the back left-hand corner. Come down nearly brilliant, because he's on that upper shelf, yard to his left. That would have taken the slope and been down, probably stone dead.
A week in which the Ryder Cup selection process will begin, the point system, so these shots now may become massively important some 10 and 11 months on.
Been a little bit of a struggle today for Mark Farries, a couple over par. There's another one, stop, that's off the green.
Played that nicely too, but from the downslope in that thick grass, no chance of getting any control. So they can get down in 2 from there.
Carlson drove in the bunker up the left-hand side here in 2. Trying to get a birdie the other way. But all these players, particularly ones they've taken 6 at the previous hole, are now sort of defending their position in the draw. They probably think that Els is too far ahead and is not the sort of player to give up that type of lead with something careless. May well in fact increase it with a 4 here, so they're in a more defensive mode, the likes of Carlson and Romero, Brian Davis.
I used to love coming to Cron and playing here, and of course it's always a nice place to come to, but I've become a little frustrated at the way the greens are up and all the side of them run off. These players are excellent at their trade, especially when you give them a 60-degree wedge and a decent line of bunker. And I think we've just seen too many shots that have run off the green rather than taking their way in towards the middle or the back of it.
Well, that was certainly the feature of what Seve did a few years ago, and this is the first time this course has been as dry as this, and of course those sort of problems are accentuated when the greens become really firm. Els is giving himself a big enough lead that he can savour the victory over the closing holes. Very competent birdie that'll be.
The manners of the top professional too, just making sure that he didn't stand in anyone's line there. And it's a tired looking Romero that wanders over to the back edge and now faces his fourth.
Touch and go whether it would be Romero or Carlsen, but Carlsen's elected to play, putting from just on the edge of the ridge in the back part of this green. Quite a swing from right to left and very quick. Don't think I've ever seen Eduardo Romero miss the green with 2 chips on the trot. One a bunker shot, one a little chip from the side of the green. But it's happened here. Hopefully he can get something out of it with a chip in.
Costly run. I don't know whether to tell you this or not, Colonel, but this fella's on the green in 1.
That's the way to do it. Just 388 yards and a putt for a 2. He's got that as well. And that's robbing the till at this late stage. Look at that. What a nice little move that was.
Well done, Canonica. Well done, Robert Carlsen. It's been a struggle for both he and Eduardo Romero. Maybe they'll get something of a bonus in these last 3 holes. But the interesting thing is that the Ryder Cup points start this week, and Els, Campbell and Romero lead the way. None of them would be in the Ryder Cup team. So leading the points list at the moment, Brian Davis, Carlsen and Coulthard.
There is Brian Davis missing another shortish putt, and not really giving the hole a look as it went by. That may be a 4. Indeed it is. So he's shot 4 shots in 5 holes. From 3 under to 1 over. See if David Howell can do a bit better. Used all the hole, but got to the bottom in the end.
It's been a good comeback from David. While others have struggled from the 12th onwards, he's a couple under for that stretch. It's got him back into the top 10. 3 holes from home. The gap at the top is 5.
Straight into the wind, 232 yards. Trying to drive a 4-iron, chase it underneath the level of the wind.
A 4-iron into the wind, 232. It's extraordinary. And that's a lot of the players discovered. You pitch in the middle of this green, it ricochets over the back, so that was very well planned.
Astonishing stat, that, isn't it? When you think of his victories. Of course, he's been over there in Dubai. He's one down in the Heineken. He's one up in Scotland.
And of course, through the middle of the year, he's playing the bulk of his golf in the United States. That's where he's accredited. So he tends to play either end of the year in other parts of warm parts of the world, around either side of Christmas. But America mainly through the centre of the year, middle of the year.
Other European Tour victories down in South Africa as well, at Houghton and the South African Airways Open. More recovery work required at 16 for Robert Carlson.
Romero now trying to force this 4-iron again, trying to keep the ball down. Quite a brisk breeze has just come up in the last 25 minutes or so.
Well, it looked awfully good from the tee. It's not these two trees that really pose the problem. It's the one nearer the tee. It's only about 60 yards off it. And you almost actually are obliged to, particularly to get to the left half of the pit of the green, to hit a draw around it. You certainly can't go over the top of it. Whereas quite often you've probably got enough room and the ball's at the top of its flight as the two that guard the entrance, so perhaps not so much in play as the other one.
.71 for Richard Bland in the end, 143rd in the Volvo Order of Merit. For Alexandre Chopard, a handsome watch for his hole-in-one at this hole that the final group are playing. Brian Davis's collapse has been disappointing to watch because what went on before it was nothing short of excellent. Paul Eales, there he is with a 67. One wonders if that will be enough to give him the momentum going into the closing stretch of the season. He's 135th in the Volvo Order of Merit. Mark Farey 6 under through 17, 129th in that list. Farey managing to get up and down from the back of 17. Eagle at 17 has taken Emmanuel Canonica up into a tie for 4th. And bear in mind, he's another one struggling at 134. So there's been a lot of good stories, there's been a lot of heartbreak, but then that's what good tournaments do produce. As the gallery welcome this group to the 16th green in this nest of trees, and the hotel looking down on the putting surface. That's where Ernie's been staying all week. He has his family over here. He's got his in-laws here as well. .71 for Montgomery today. It wasn't the best of starts for him, was it?
No, it took him a long time to get some birdies. 70-68 on day 2, and having birdied the first hole today, it was the 14th, and in fact his only birdies came at the par 5s, or 3 of them, all of which he could get home in 2. So I think again, which is something that's been a problem for him this year, he really hasn't putted very well, hasn't holed anything, and you'll probably find, if you look at his card, that it's sort of 30-32 putts further round, something like that, when you look at the winners and they're 26-27 putts.
A good lie in the left-hand bunker here for Carlson, slightly on the upside. He's hit some lovely bunker shots. And another one.
All that data put together by some very experienced people. You can imagine all the players from the start of the week, 156 it is normally. And each of their data is compiled, put into a computer and fed out. And they watch that just as much as anyone else does. See what department of the game they're weak and strong, what they have to improve and what they have to get stronger.
Quite a severe slope in the middle of this 16th green, and Eduardo Romero's just at the bottom of it, so the ball will move quite sharply from left to right early on and then level out.
Still waiting for his first birdie. 3 bogeys and facing another one there. It's been a very disappointing. Perhaps we're seeing why it's been a poor season. He's had one top 10 finish. That was in Ireland in early July. And the rest has been very ordinary. He should still finish in the top 10 here comfortably enough. But it was a chance. Led by 2 going into today. An easier putt, this one coming straight up the slope, Howard.
It is, exactly. It's just a straight putt. It's just got to control the distance. There shouldn't be much movement either way, left or right. Breeze whipping through this little hollow here.
Easy does it. Perhaps haven't given Else enough credit for this final round. If you look at the last 3 groups, until Canonica made the eagle at 17, Else is the only player under par in these 3 groups. And the group in front of them, Tunnicliffe 1 over, Simsek 1 over.
Well done. There's been very little smile about for the big Argentinian.
He's got to get to work now and finish with a couple of 3s, and that would get him into 2nd place ahead of Michael Campbell. Can't think Else is going to make too many mistakes from there.
He's struggled hard. His back 9, his long game hasn't been that good, but he's stuck to his task. He's kept the damage to the minimum. But it's been an awkward day. Some destructive shots, particularly early in the round, put him behind the 8 ball. Peter Hedblom finishing off nicely. That was a 4 for a round of 70. One of those very few players in the closing groups who's beaten par today. Steadiness rather than brilliance, the basis of that.
Brian Davis tumbling down the first page of the leaderboard. Needs to try and arrest the slide and find a couple of 3s. Difficult once you've gone through what he's gone through in the last hour. Canonica on 18 at the moment. And still a lot to be played for the likes of Carlson and Romero. Casey at 7 under 1 to play. And Sergio Garcia, another consistent week rather than brilliant. It looks likely he'll finish just inside the top 20. The closing stages of the 2003 Omega European Masters. And it's been another eventful afternoon, I have to say.
It has. It's been interesting watching as the players have coped with a course that's much firmer and harder, rough bounces, particularly on the greens, and now a gathering breeze, a gathering wind, just to add to the mix. And you can just see a ball coming onto the front of the green. That's Eduardo Romero. And so what one Argentinian can do, or Canonica. He's an Italian, mind you, another Latin. And Well, I don't know whether Brian Davis, he was only just short of the green. I thought it was probably in 2, and he's just chipped it too far. It was a good shot, looked as though it was going to end up stone dead, then just the wind frankly blew it on, and of course it got to the top of this ridge and off the other side. So hard when something's gone galloping by, and then you're uphill and into the grain and into the wind. And that is probably another one gone. It'll be 2 weeks in a row when Sunday's spoilt a lot of good play prior to that.
A lot of diligent work as well for Brian Davis. He's had a long season. 25 tournaments already, and still many more to come. He's up there in the Seve Trophy. Looks like he's going to make that team. Nicely nudged in from Raphael Jacquelin. Another player to suffer around these par 5s, which are so important. You can steal a march on the field if you can master them. Was a 4 indeed for Brian Davis. A big tee shot there, very similar to the one that Romero clipped onto the front of the green.
Here's your man Canonica. Now, very important not to squander any of that the ground he made up with that 2 at the last. Awkward chip along the ridge and then down the other side to the hole.
The pressure of this, Bruce, is down in 2 to keep you count.
That's right. He's one of those right on the fringes of things. 134th. And then, of course, you sort of give a chance over the rest of the season to ease away. Currently in 4th place, along with Coulthard and Carlson. But you can see the difficulty. Once he gets on the green, it slopes away. And then there's a step about 2/3 of the way to the hole. And a lot of people watching. Played that very nicely indeed. That's a terrific shot. Not the part of the game for which he's renowned. And that's as good as it gets.
20,000, that was worth to get down into. 47,000 if things stay as they are. If he takes 3 to get down, it's 27,000. And that's not enough, I don't think, to secure his card. But down in 2 will be. And he should manage it from there. Finished second to Sergio Garcia in the Canary Islands last year when the Spanish Open went over there. Garcia winning his national title.
Heard of some driving exploits this week, but I think this just about takes the cream. Els with a 3-wood from the 17th tee, 388 yards to the middle of the green, and he's through the back with his 3-wood.
Oh, there's a certain tone of jealousy in your voice there.
Oh.
Bit of envy, I think.
I think envy is more like it, yeah. Green. Incredible. Mind you, it is like a motorway, this. It's very firm, the fairway. And Carlson now facing a pitch just 15 yards or so short of the putting surface. It's hard to know where you can actually land this and actually control it and keep it near the flag without risking going over the back of the green and facing a bogey or even worse.
It's gone. Not only 3 or 4 yards from the hole, but up against the thicker grass. Just awkward. Downright awkward.
it's a definite case today, Bruce, that the holes that have played downwind have certainly played more difficult than the ones into the wind.
Yes, I know what you mean. Well, you add a strong wind to firm, fast fairways, and you prefer be into the wind to control the ball, get it to drop with not much forward momentum. And this isn't easy, Howard, either.
Now there'll be a big swing on this one if he assesses it correctly. Big swing from the right. It's all about control here, and he hasn't been putting at all well today.
Somehow I knew that would happen before it did. And it does make these players look foolish.
Well, I think when you've got firm greens like this and you've got to put the pin that far back, it's just compounded the problem.
Greens shouldn't fall away as much as these do, Bruce, when they're that size. That's all very well when you have greens twice this size. They've actually struggled to find 4 places to put the hole. You have to put them near the edge of the greens, and when you do that, something like that, what's just happened to Romero, happens. And then this happens, and it really does look foolish. These are the best players in the world. There's only one better player in the world than any else.
That's right. I was thinking as he stood over that, he wouldn't have, having bolted 2 chips well past at the 14th. He wouldn't have been looking forward to that. You can just a little bit of doubt those chips at 14 would have put in his mind, and now another one. There'll have to be a little practice session somewhere to get the feeling back.
I think the European Tour have been extremely fair with the pins, as fair as they could possibly be. There's just too much movement in these greens to be this size. You get somewhere like Pebble Beach, which is the smallest greens on the PGA Tour. There's an awful lot of holding spaces on them. They don't have that here.
No, they're essentially flat. They might sit towards you a little bit, but there's no outrageous swings there. And probably this is the best club to try and run this up the hole. See, if you just give this an ounce too much and suddenly it's 4 or 5 feet by the hole. They're all nearly driving the green. They're all struggling to make 4.
Else in a more relaxed position may manage to turn it into a 3, but the others, they're chasing the other prizes. Else has got that comfortable lead.
Put him back into the breeze, so that should help him a little. And swinging from left to right as he plays it, but it is downhill, so difficult one to judge the distance on, even though it is only 10 or 12 feet.
Lovely 3. He can relax now, and he can play the 18th any way he wants. And the hallmark of this victory, surely the first 4 holes, but what that scorecard doesn't tell was the dramatic escape he had at the 5th.
Holes and no birdies, no good news, nothing to cheer him up on his way round. Just a shot leaked here and there.
Ryan Davis way left at the 18th. This is the edge of the 10th fairway. Up and over the grandstand with a touch of fade here. Oh, It's at the grandstand at the back. And it hasn't come back onto the green. There is a drop zone there. We saw Canonica playing from it. And Emmanuel Canonica duly went ahead and tapped in that 12-inch putt on the 18th green, and his playing privileges are safe for next year. Job well done.
Oof. Well, there's going over the green, and then there's going over the green, and maybe the applause as that's bounced back on the green.
Well, I think you have to explain too that the wind has gone up considerably. We've got about a 15-mile-an-hour wind there, and because we're a long way above sea level, 6,000 feet, they are so thin, and it is difficult to judge distance when the wind blows. Not making excuses for these players, but it's hard. And this shot is semi-blind too. You can only see the top of the pin.
It was a real surprise after the other two that came up that much short. Again, evil pin position.
I think you were spot on, Colonel. I think that did do a bit of the ricochet off the grandstand. Lovely feeling. 18th tee.
Quiet, please.
6 ahead.
Probably a good job that the wind has taken this long to really get up and in its force, because this is quite a fierce breeze against at the 18th. And only with the driver. You must try and keep this up the left-hand side.
He was up near where Brian Davis was yesterday, over the other side of those trees, and got it back on the green, flirted with the water, and finished, well, in fact, with a pair of threes. So it's a hole that has been good to him, and really sort of got him back within striking distance of Eduardo Romero. He was 4 shots behind with 2 to play.
Carlsen now not having the best of times. Really needs a good drive here. He hasn't driven the ball particularly well the last couple of days.
See the shape of this fairway. Anything that pitches in the middle or to the right all runs off into those pair of bunkers, so that's why all the players are hugging up the left hand side if they can.
Strong evidence of how strong that wind is. Flags beyond the green. Lovely angle to watch Romero. Look at the way he's just turned that from right to left against the slope. He may have overdone it a bit. It needs to come out of there. Systematic of his day. It stays in the primary rough there, and now he's got the chance of a flyer into the wind. His golf hasn't been bad. He's putted poorly and didn't get off to the right start. 1 and 2 at the first 3 putts. From there he was really chasing it.
Raphael Jacquelin, he was the one who clattered into the grandstand, so he did indeed get a good putt for a 3. More likely 2 for a 4. Good try though.
So the marker of Brian Davis there, he'd already chipped down from the back left-hand corner. He's got some 8 feet left.
Well, it's going to be around a 74 for the Frenchman. 69, 67, 68 and 74. So another one who's been undone in the end by, well, just being Sunday, and of course has become increasingly difficult as the week's gone on.
And between 12 and 15,000 extra this putt is worth for David Howe. What an effort. I have a feeling at the end of this day there'll be a lot of tired players, mentally tired, finishing this tournament.
Well, rather like playing that Firestone course in the NEC a couple of weeks ago. The hard, bouncy conditions, it really taxes you, puts doubt in your mind, and well, it's to finish with a 4. And it's not to be ruinous final half dozen holes.
It's funny the way final rounds go. We were talking about Casey maybe supplying a lot of birdies. He only had one, and Davis had a couple in the first 5. He had another at the 10th, and yet with that one birdie, Casey around of 72, and for Brian Davis it's a very disappointing 73.
Thinking about making an extra 15 grand. An expensive miss, this one. About £8,000 that's cost. Oh, 3 putts to the end of all the hard work. Another 73.
Good second too, especially after what went on before. It was sensible leaving it short of the pin. Thought for a moment the first putt was going to be in for a 3. The 18th fairway, the champion-elect, the second of Ernias. No time for heroics. Water over on the right side. Make it as easy as possible, and that's exactly what he's done. Eduardo Romero and Robert Carlson have already gone and now walking up towards the green now. Tremendous reception for the 3 players. A day to forget maybe for Carlson and Romero, but the one thing that happens in professional golf, that even if you have a bad day, you remember something from it and you don't do it again the next time, or at least you try not to. I think the game will always be one up on us all.
Well, you never conquer it. You can have good days and have great scores, but it's not perfectible. And 1 or 2 players down the years have tried to perfect it, tried to control it. You have to go with the flow, and this has been, well, a good 8 days, because he finished didn't play so well in Munich the first 3 days, but finished with a 64 there, and then he's had rounds of 65, 69, 68, and well, 2 putts for another 65 to close things out. So it's close to his best golf, although he's struggled at times. I think it's a measure of just how well he has played that he is as many under as that, despite odd hiccups here and there. His putting, which has really been the problem with his game through the summer, played rather like Darren Clark well without holding very much. That seems, as autumn comes in, to be coming back.
Down she comes online. And it's a stunning putt to finish off with. Surely he will mark that and then enjoy the moment. Caddy that's been alongside him on many of his victories, Ricky Roberts, close pal as well. Now, big putt for Robert Carson. He's at 9 under, so is Canonica and Coulthard. So that's for sole possession of 4th place, which would be worth £55,000. Good pace. Now, the way things have gone, Bruce, for Eduardo Romero, you would hope that he can two-putt this.
Yes, he would fall back and join 3 others. At the moment he's in 3rd on his own. Sort of irony of a day like this, though, is that you couldn't buy a putt at any point, and almost you shrug your shoulders at the end and just looking to get it close, and it falls in for a 3.
Well, if he can knock it in, it's worth an extra 30,000. Michael Campbell finishes 2nd.
Very short backswing on that putt, and that's really been it for the day. And well, he was obviously just trying to get it dead. He hasn't succeeded. It's still his go. There's his flag.
And they've enjoyed some great celebrations here. Champion of 2000 and in 1994. Gonzalez in 2001. No celebration today. Romero finishes 3rd, £70,000 will go to him.
Topsy-turvy round of golf, that double bogey at the 2nd, and then lucky to get away with a 5 at the 4th, having gone nearly out of bounds, and so unsettling, and really didn't, at no point did he settle down.
Smile on the face of Els and the spectators. And it's Ernie's time at Crans-Montana. He is the Omega European Master for 2003, an emphatic victory. And he has a lead at the top of the Volvo Order of Merit of over £400,000. An excellent final round of 65 when 72 and 3 became the norm. That's young Sam. Wife Liesel isn't too far away either.
Nummer 6.
We've still got a lot of wonderful events, Bruce, before we get to the end of the season, and I suspect that this won't be the last Els victory.
No, he hasn't done much sort of in the middle of the year after that spate of victory. There's Liesel, there's Mrs. and Sam, a daughter, Jos van Stephout from Belgium, and a gentleman from Omega in the Far East. I can't remember his name, but he was always used to attend all those Asian PGA Tour victories.
That's the way it finished, else by 6 in the end. Another wonderful victory for the South African as we hand you back to the studio.
Thank you, Ewan. Yes, another thoroughly impressive performance by the world number 2, and you wonder now what else he can produce for the rest of the season. Ernie, in the end, with a comfortable victory. Richard Boxall is alongside me. Breeze is getting up a little bit. Richard, are you surprised that no one mounted more of a challenge for Ernie, or is it because of conditions in this course that the more you press, the harder it gets?
Yes, it is. The greens are very difficult. The short game becomes very difficult, and I was surprised today. You know, Romero not making any birdies. His short game's absolutely fantastic, and I thought that's really, you know, I thought on those first few holes he was going to come in, up and down a few, certainly birdie the first and get off to a good start. I mean, Ernie Els' start was absolutely fantastic. I mean, answered questions very early doors, didn't he? Birdied the first, the second, the third, the fourth, and then really, I think he won that tournament, Dominic, you know, was on the 5th. I mean, I was listening to it in my earphones on the course, and I was listening to Ewan and Bruce, and he was chopping it all over the place. I mean, he was going everywhere, and I mean, you probably saw it, managed to up and down it for a 4, which was
terrific 4.
Yeah, I think Ewan was saying that, you know, if he looks back on the whole thing, that will probably be the hole where he thinks, yeah, that's where I won the tournament. And he did, but he played great golf.
You were following Brian Davis amongst others out there today, and David Howell didn't quite go for them today. Is it just one of those things?
It was one of those things. Brian was, he did okay, and then he struggled a little bit around about 7, 8, 9, birdied 10, which was good, and parred 11. But then he took it on the 12th, the dogleg left to right. Found the left-hand bunker, which was not the spot to be. I don't think it was really a driver off the tee. Played a second shot and was trying to cut it in off the bank, trying to hit a low shot and move it in left to right, and just caught it a little heavy because it's out of bounds right at that. You definitely don't want to be there. And then the bunk shot, and then the bunk shot went over the back, up against the fringe like that. Had to play a little chip and run with the 5-wood. Came up 6 feet short, and then and missed it. So, you know, to take 6 on a hole like that is not good news. And that gets you down then, you know, that having a chat with the caddies and stuff, and he said, well, he's a little bit down now. And you have to sort of keep trying to say to them, but just remember, you know, you're probably in the top 5 of the Ryder Cup points at the moment, which is one thing, isn't it? But at that stage of the day, you know, it doesn't. You can't perk a player up like that. To be quite honest, it's very difficult. And then again on 13, had a good chance of a birdie there. Didn't quite get it. 14 again, straight down the middle, absolutely spot on. And then didn't get it, got ahead of his tee shot, as Ewan was saying, didn't quite get his weight onto his right-hand side, just leant on it a bit and went into that water on the right, and then came a 6. So it all went wrong from that. There you go.
As you say, though, some useful Ryder Cup points. David Howell picked up a few as well. Andrew Coulthard is making quite a habit of finishing well over the weekend.
And I think Coulthard, you know, after only playing one game last time when he went to Brookline. Yeah, you know, he'd love to get back into it. I think a good season, build yourself up, you know, play well for the whole year, and then get in. I think you'd find out that Andrew would probably be playing all the foursomes, all the 4-ball, and all the singles. So that's a good start. Paul Eales as well. He rallied well today, didn't he? He was round in. Now let me think. Was it 67? 67. Which, you know, yesterday he played with Ernie Els, and that was hard work, wasn't it, for him yesterday? I mean, he went round and Paul's not played so well recently, as you can tell from where he is in the order of merit. So he played with Ernie Els, and he was obviously feeling a bit edgy, got to a bit of an edgy start. But then to come back out today, I was going back out onto the golf course, and I saw him walking down the 10th, and he was sort of saying, you know, what a difference a day makes, and it was absolutely, well, it was spot. A great finish, didn't he, I think he was back in 31. I think it was back in 31. So that was a good finish. So that's going to earn him a nice few, you know, probably somewhere about £30,000, which will nudge him up a little bit nearer to trying to get his card. So all in all, it was a good week.
It was indeed, and hopefully Paul will take advantage in the closing events of the season. Let's confirm then, it was a comfortable victory in the end for Ernie Els. Another victory in Europe this season. It'll be interesting to see what he does now about the order of merit, because earlier this week he said, I've got my schedule sorted out for the end of the season. I'm not necessarily going to play the Volvo Masters because he's got the President's Cup and stuff like that. So it will be interesting to see what he does and whether he changes his schedule at all. A 65 for him, a 6-shot victory over Michael Campbell, and our new champion is talking to Howard Clark.
Only a tremendous day, but the start really set you off onto the championship winning.
Absolutely, Howard. Yeah, I mean, the start was a dream start. You know, I needed to get off to a quick start. And as the day went on, conditions got tougher and tougher, as you saw out there. But yeah, the start was great. I played. The real turning point was that hole around the corner. You know, I played it badly all week, and that was the most miraculous par I've ever made in my life. But anyway, that saved the day for me.
I was going to ask you that. Why did you go with an iron today after driving it so well yesterday?
Well, you know, it was into the breeze a little bit today, and you know, after making a nice start like that, you know, you don't want to go and mess it up, which I kind of did. But yeah, every time I played with iron up that fairway, I put it in trouble in the right. So next time I'll hit drive all the time.
The 14th was the next obstacle, I think, in your rounds, and you managed to just get through that, although you looked a little upset with yourself there.
That's the par 5?
Yeah, the 14th down the hill.
I mean, that second shot I played there, I thought was going to be perfect, and I just ran through the green, and the out of bounds is 3 yards behind the green there. And my chipping's been awful all week, you know. I probably got to go with another sand iron. I thinned it through the green there, and you know, I was just kind of on the walk there for a while, but I made 5 and I played well coming in.
Well, all's well that ends well. Congratulations, a wonderful victory.
Thanks, Howard. Appreciate it.
Ernie Els, the 2003 Omega European Masters champion, congratulations to him. It was wonderful to watch this classy player in action here in the Swiss mountains. Finally gets his victory up here at the 5th attempt. It was quite nice to talk to Cindy Crawford on a personal note as well. From us all here in Switzerland for now, it's goodbye.